What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. It's your boy Zach with the other host, the better host, Mr. Nonfiction.
What's up? What's up?
I
What's up?
gotta start it off right like that. Everybody's here to see you and here to make fun of me. That's how it
No,
works on our channel.
they're all here for you. They're all here for you.
Okay. But what's good, everybody? How y'all doing today? Deck, I see you in the chat. Was good, Deck. Appreciate you stopping by. Um, so man, what a interesting last 3 days has been.
Yeah, interesting to say the least. I guess you could say. It's been okay. It hasn't been too crazy, really. I thought it was gonna be
Mm-hmm.
a lot more splashes in the first couple of days, but not really. It's not really. That's. I
Well,
wish it was more. I wish it was more.
I think it's just there's been a lot of moves of like some bigger names, but we haven't had the big names. You know what I mean? We haven't
Yeah,
had the big
yeah,
names yet. I mean, we're still waiting to hear about the Aaron Rodgers situation, which we'll get into more detail in a little bit. The things with Lamar Jackson, what's that going to turn into? And there's still a lot of things going. I mean, we just got news as we're like getting set up here that DeAndre Hopkins is getting traded over to the Pats. So
that's crazy.
this is still the beginning. It's just the first
Yeah,
3 days, and we still got plenty of time for things to change. There's still a lot of great players out there in the free agent market.
true. Very true. True.
Well,
Well,
before we get started, what is your favorite so far, as well as y'all's chat? What is y'all's favorite acquisition so far for any team?
favorite. I don't. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have a favorite. I just some of them. I'm like, that's an interesting move. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, why would you? Why? It's like, why everybody going to Miami all of a sudden? Like, is that just like the destination to go to now? Is that what,
True, true,
they
true.
they still need a quarterback that can stay up?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they need an actual quarterback.
I mean, obviously for me, I love the Derek Carr trade. I'm super excited.
Hmm.
The amount of banter and shame that I've gotten from talking positively about Derek Carr, like I learned about it quickly. After not telling me how much hate he gets, and like I got the same, and I'm super excited about that. But you know. Around the league, it's just been interesting. I truly do like what the Falcons have done. I think they're really trying to build their team up the right way.
Yeah,
They still need a
yeah,
quarterback
true.
and they still need some other positions, but being hungry and operating highly in free agency and trying to bring some veterans over there and a good presence is a good move by them. I'm surprised and not happy because of the Falcons, but good for them and all the moves that they've made. Um, I see you, Meg. How you doing today? Meg says Drew Lock back to Seattle. 1 year, 7.5 mil, 4 mil guarantee. The rest incentives. I did see that. Be good to know that he's still getting paid to sit behind Gino. Good to know. Good to know. Making fun of Saints fans is life. Okay, true, Meg. Okay, that's fair. Uh, Deck says agreed to terms with Big Play 24 Slay on a 2 year extension 1 hour ago. Yes,
Also, we
yeah, I
did.
saw that he
Okay,
was coming
good,
back.
good.
That's crazy. I was I was so surprised when they initially dropped him. Like it was a done deal. His wife tweeted about it. He tweeted about it, and then they decided to what? Only a couple hours after they were like, all right, nope, we're gonna bring him back.
The is this there's been two rumors going on that have really bothered me when it pertained to my Raiders. That the fact that we could have had Lamar Jackson. Like,
Are you
now I know
serious?
that we could have actually had him. He so here's the rumor is Lamar
Okay.
Jackson told the Raiders, upgrade at right tackle. Just upgrade at right tackle because our right tackle is trash.
Yeah.
Upgrade at right tackle, and I'll come in with for less money.
Wow. That is
And they
yeah,
and
I
they
haven't
chose
heard
not
that
to.
one. That's insane. I
And
also
the
heard
other one,
there was another team that offered him like 175 mil guaranteed or something like that.
mhm,
And they just decided not to go with it, which I
yeah,
thought
which
that
is
was
kind of weird.
really interesting. What team was that? I just saw it like not too long as I was getting back home from work. Um
Oh crap!
it'll come back to me at some point, but that was definitely interesting.
And then the second one was the
Okay.
fact that Aaron Rodgers actually was contemplating coming to Las Vegas. Like,
Really?
he actually was contemplating. Yes, supposedly, when he came out the darkness, that's what he saw. Like, and I'm like, I know people was rumors, but I'm
He saw
thinking
that black. He was like, I went from the darkness and I'm ready to go to the black and silver. I'm
he
trying to
said
stay dark.
he thought he thought he would look good in silver and black, and it's like it's interesting with the rumors, and I'm like, okay, but as far as what we see right now as a Raiders fan, I
Yeah.
feel like McDaniels is doing the exact same thing he did in Denver, because
Mm-hmm.
with the whole Darren Waller thing to New
Destroying
Jersey,
teams.
he literally said 15 days ago, Darren Waller is a great athlete and he's going to be a big part of what we got going forward. He said this
I did
15
see
days
that.
ago.
I did see that. And the fact
15
that
days ago.
someone offered him in the middle of the season an even better deal for I believe the second round, and then you
Green
give
Bay.
him Green Bay did, and then you give him to you give him to the Giants
To New York.
for a
Yeah,
third
for 100, the 100 pick 100. Like what?
mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Like what
Insanity.
exactly are you doing?
Insanity. Yeah. So what we're gonna do here, guys, we're gonna go ahead. We'll run through these comments real quick. Slim, I see you in here. What's up, Slim? How you doing, baby? And once we get done with that, we'll go ahead and we're gonna bring up just some images of some different teams that I think did well that we can get some good talking points on. And then at the end, we'll kind of go just freestyle on it and just talk about some different other ones that have been going down as well. Meg says Draymond to Seattle, Drew Lock re-signing are my top two so far. Yeah, Draymond Jones to Seattle, that's definitely a great pickup. I know you were saying you were excited about that the other day. And it's good to hear that y'all were able to secure y'all's backup. I was joking about it, but it's important to have a backup, especially in today's league. You never know who's going to get injured. Slim said, "What's up, family?" He gives a big shout to Meg. Meg says, "With the Lock and Geno re-signing, makes me wonder if we're going for a quarterback in the draft. Really want Hooker in the third." There's a lot of things with quarterback, and I think there's a lot of teams that are going to reach for quarterbacks that might not necessarily need one right now, but could need one within the next 2 or 3 years, because this is a pretty heavy quarterback draft, unlike last year. So I could definitely see some teams just making a move and either securing their backup or just preparing for the future. Meg says, no way Raiders are getting Lamar. I'm a Ravens fan, and that isn't happening, Non. But apparently it did. That's the thing. Apparently it did. And
like I
Mozzie
said,
in here
it's a lot of rumors.
It's a lot of rumors, yeah. Mozzie, what's good? Mozzie says, wait, who's saying Lamar to the Raiders? I don't know. Who was saying that? Don, do you know?
I didn't say he was going to the Raiders. I said there was conversation between him and the Raiders, and he told the Raiders that if they want him seriously to upgrade a right tackle, the Raiders didn't do that. So
interesting.
There's that answer.
Rodgers to Vegas for a whole 2 seconds at Non. Well, it just goes to show that McDaniels is just really good at destroying a team. We're going to talk more about the Raiders as we get there, because that's definitely one we're going to be able to give y'all some good information on and some good opinions on. But it's definitely, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Mai says, Lamar's going to re-sign. Watch this space. All right, we'll see. I mean, I hope he does. I need to pay the man, but I hope he does.
I don't really care if he does, because it don't matter to me. But I'm saying, just because people say it's a rumor, don't disregard rumors. A lot of rumors have truth to them. People forget how many players and athletes and coaches actually talk during this time period.
I mean, why would you want Lamar anyway? You have Jimmy G. Come on, baby.
Actually, right now we do not have Jimmy G. He has not signed a contract.
Oh, okay. So that makes it even more.
He hasn't signed a contract. There's two rumors with that too.
Oh Lord! And y'all lost Stidham. Who's behind Stidham? Actually, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Nobody. Mize as a Ravens fan who has Lamar jersey. Hell yeah! You better say the Hawks did well, gents. Hooker needs to sit out for a year with ACL injury, so may happen. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get this started. We're gonna pull up our first one, which is gonna be where'd it go? There it is. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Talked about them in the very beginning here. Just saying that I really was, like I said, I don't know if I want to say impressed, but them going out and making moves. It's always annoying. I'm in so many dang Facebook groups for the NFC South, and I don't know what's worse. Bucs fans that magically showed up out of nowhere once Tom Brady got there, or Atlanta fans trying to hold on to false hope. But it definitely feels like right now it's Atlanta. Tampa Bay has been very quiet. A lot of them went back into their caves now that Tom Brady's officially
He said
retired.
they were back in the caves.
But taking a look at what the Falcons have done so far, they go ahead and grab the safety over from Cincinnati. Jesse Bates III signed him for 4 years, 64 mil. They're going to go ahead and re-sign their tackle and Caleb McGarry. They go ahead and grab Caden Ellis, the outside linebacker from the New Orleans Saints, who played phenomenal. That was such a tough loss for the Saints team. You know, we knew that was going to happen right once we extended out DeMario's contract. But Caden Ellis is a young talent that he's going to play well. Like, you almost wish as a Saints fan that DeMario may have been a couple years older, or Caden Ellis would have peaked a little bit later instead of the middle of the season like he did. But that's a great grab. And then they also going to go and pick up Taylor Heineke. What's your thoughts on the Heineke situation? Do you think he takes the starting spot?
I think he probably will take the starting spot, to be honest with you.
So.
Not even trying to be funny, but I think he will, just because of the uncertainty of what the previous QB did. Like, it just, especially with injury situations, like Taylor's he was a little more healthier at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But I do think it's a better pickup.
Yeah,
I like Mariota too. I like Mariota a lot. But I think
so Mariota right now is a free agent. So there's right now it's not Mariota, it's the young buck.
Oh yeah, it's like the young dude. Yeah. So then even with that situation, it's ultimately a much better pickup.
Ultimately. Yeah. I mean, Taylor Heineke, he's shown flash. He's shown flash that he can, play
a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's like kind of similar to like the Gardner Minshew, ordeal where came in, started, had some good games, then had a bad one, and then that was, basically it. Or, if this is something that he just needs some time to develop and actually can be a good quarterback in this league. I think he can be good, and I think you're right. I think he's going to go ahead and take that starting spot. I think, even though they did like what they saw out of the Rook last year, I don't think it's going to stay. It takes a lot to be a talented mobile quarterback in the NFL, and I just don't think he has exactly that, and not exactly right now either. Not saying that he can in the future, but right now I don't know.
I mean, I'm definitely sticking by my guns when I say that the young quarterbacks, when they come into the league and they get thrown into the limelight too quick, they don't really develop like they should. Look at the quarterbacks who've been behind starters for a couple of years and came out. They've actually had pretty decent careers. Not all of them. Some of them have pretty decent careers, but in situations where quarterbacks come into the league and then they either have to be thrown into the pocket really quick, or they have to come in for an injured quarterback, they don't develop as well, and it takes them a lot longer. I.e. Geno. It's taken Geno a lot longer to develop. Jacoby Brissett, like, it's taking a lot longer to develop. So in a situation, Taylor could be one of those situations too, where maybe this year, even next year, it could be, he just has his explosion of this. All of a sudden, he just looks really, really good. Not amazing, but just really good.
But very good. Yeah, I feel you. Let's see, looking at some comments real quick. Meg says, I'm thinking Rodgers is screwing with everyone and ends up at Green Bay. I saw some funny things where people were like, what if Rodgers does all this and then just becomes the GM of the Jets? Like, it doesn't even play football no more, retires, becomes the GM. Like, there's no telling, man. There's no telling with Rodgers.
That's funny.
He might go on another retreat, like in some deep desert in like California, and just get all kind of twisted up. Meg says harsh but fair. Talking about Jimmy. Like what these guys have done. Bates, really good pickup for the Falcons, but they're still going to be ass. Yeah, I mean, that's what it really boils down to, is that I don't think the Falcons are going to like dramatically improve this year. But it's just, you hate when you have struggling teams that just do nothing. And like, as I was going through some of the teams today, I'm going through and I'm like, oh, these people have got to have signed somebody, right? And then I'm looking, I'm like, they didn't sign nobody. I'm like, what? You haven't been good in 5 years, or you're just at that peak where like you're starting to be something, you could become something better, and you do no moves within the first 3 days. It's like, as a fan, that's got to be disappointing. I know we all love chaos,
Yeah. I mean, but as you look at it, though, with the signings that the Saints have done, which kind of bolster already pretty talented, lineup, we know more likely if Baker doesn't perform, Atlanta's second in division.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's feels like it
Yeah.
might be
I
automatic.
mean, I feel like as much I want to say Saints are going to be number one leading in that division this year, there's just no telling because
Oh
everyone
yeah.
has been very active, and like I don't think things are
Hmm.
over with the Bucks. You know, they've really just grabbed Baker, but you know they gotta kind of restructure their whole team. They're losing a lot of players. I don't think they're gonna be the ones that we're gonna worry about. I think we're gonna see some considerable upgrades from the Panthers and from Carolina. I could honestly see Carolina playing really well, but you know who's to say? Mozzie said Heineke's gonna run through them Saints. Okay, Mozzie, chill. Um, Meg says, great point. Gino was back up for 10 years after all. True, Meg. Very true.
Yeah.
Uneducated Carlos was good, Carlos. He
What's
said,
good,
what's
sir?
up, fellas? Keep grinding, loving the moves my Saints are making, just hoping it all pans out. Yep, that's, and all stay healthy. That's the biggest thing, you know.
That's the
But
biggest
appreciate
thing.
you stopping by, man. I hope you're enjoying your stream over there. I'm not sure if you're still live or not. If you are, guys, make sure I'll go pop in over there. Go give our boy Carlos a like on that video. Meg says, talk to you now. I'm all over the Hawks. Falcons may not do much this year, but they will in a few years, in my opinion. Meg also says, Hawks have surprised me with the moves they've already made this year in free agency. Yeah. But looking over Jesse Bates real quick, just over last year, played 16 games, forced one fumble. He had, let's see here. 71 combo tackles, 38 solo, 33 assisted. This was a down year for Bates because in previous years, he's doubled those numbers ever since 2018 in his rookie year. So, you know, I don't know what happened this past year with him and why those numbers decreased by so much, but if he can get back on track, that's going to be a great pickup. But Derek Carr is still going to make this dude's life live in hell. He's going to be chasing after Shaheed and Olave all night.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I definitely I like the re-signing of Thomas too. I think that was a really good move for the Saints. And I know pretty much he signed because Derek Carr was there. And that was the reason why he even stayed there. You can see that in his tweets and all that stuff. He was so happy to get Derek
He
Carr.
was so happy. You're right. And Mozzie says Bates always did well against the Ravens. Bloody annoying. Mozzie, did you turn like British real quick? I don't think I've ever seen you type in bloody.
Actually,
But
the one move that I think the Falcons did that I think was a really good one is like you said, the Ellis move, Caden Ellis. That was actually a really smart move. Sucks for the Saints because he's really talented, but he's really good.
Oh yeah, he's very good. He's definitely going to become that leader on that defense. You know, he's worked on Demario Davis, who is a true leader. He came in while Demario was hurt and while Pete Werner was hurt, and we were all nervous. We were like, oh, that's it. Now we're really screwed. And he was the best player on our defensive side throughout all those games. So that's definitely a great move. But to go on from the Falcons, let's go ahead and hop on over to Baltimore. And Baltimore, the biggest story right now is Lamar Jackson. We talked about it a little bit, as we first got on, but now that you're even telling me that there's been rumors of him possibly going to the Raiders, we did see, I'm trying to remember what team it was. I should have wrote it down when I saw it earlier today, that someone had offered him $175 million guaranteed, and he was considering doing that, and then they changed their mind for some reason. That makes no sense. I want to say it might have been, it wasn't the Titans, but there's a lot of rumors in the air. Where do you see Lamar going?
Well, from what I'm seeing, he received the actual non-exclusive franchise tag, right?
Yes, so he has a non-exclusive franchise tag, which means that any team can talk with him and go after him, and whatever they offer him, Baltimore has the opportunity to either match it or raise it to keep him, or he can leave. So. Which is
what I'm saying is the tag will cost the Ravens $32.4416 million in 2023, and they have until July 17th to reach a multi-year extension with him. So, I mean, I don't know any team that's going to offer him that much money, the money he's looking for. That's such a big amount of money, man. And I don't know if any team has it on the books to do that right now.
Well, the thing is that every team right now, not okay. So if you're just comparing his money, his worth compared to Deshaun Watson's worth, I think he's worth just as much, if not more, than Deshaun Watson. I think that's obvious. But
Oh yeah, yeah,
all the owners right now have all came together and are like, we are not about to make this a trend. The one problem
yeah.
with it is that
They
is
definitely
if
not.
quarterbacks start getting guaranteed money like this, it takes money out of the pockets from other players. One, two, whenever you get fully guaranteed money, that is a fat stack of cash that you get right away. Okay, it's
Hmm.
not like it's spread out. You have to get drop that money right then, right there, and that's a big problem with it because these guys might be billionaires and stuff like that. You gotta remember this is like net worth. They don't want to just go and be like, all right, here's 100 mil in cash, bankrolls. Like they don't want to do that. Nobody would want to do that or should want to do that. So I think they're all kind of, I wouldn't say colluding, but have all decided that they're not going to make this a trend.
Oh yeah, the Watson deal should have never happened.
Yeah,
It should have
should have
never
never
happened.
happened.
He was not worth that much, being he hadn't played in several years. Like that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. So as far as where he's going to go, I personally still think he's going to stay with Baltimore. I don't know why
Yeah,
more teams aren't going after him. I could have put money on it that Carolina and Atlanta would have done everything in their power to try and grab him. And when they said no right away, it just confused me. I'm sure it confused a lot of Panthers and Falcons fans. And then right now, I've been hearing some spiraling rumors that the Titans are trying to adjust and make some moves to go and grab him as
hmm
well, which will be interesting, and even more interesting now that they're talking about trading away Derrick Henry, which again makes no sense to me. It's like I, I don't get what
it's
some
the
of these
Titans.
teams are doing, bro. It's the
It's
Titans,
the
yeah.
Titans.
That's what it sounds like. It's the Titans.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I agree. I don't see him
mhm.
going anywhere else. But like, because that price tag is just too hefty for most teams, and there are some teams that definitely can maneuver the contract to get it, but nobody wants to do that. There's too much. It's too much coming out of the pocket, and like you said, there's too many. They have other requirements they need to really put their teams together, and nobody wants to do that right now.
No, definitely not, definitely not. And it doesn't help the fact that he's been injured the last couple years too. I mean, it's a lot of guaranteed money for someone that's
True.
been getting injured, and there's always going to be that stigma until it's proved otherwise that mobile
Hmm.
quarterbacks can stay healthy. It hasn't been shown yet. I mean, I think Vic might have been the longest one that just didn't really get hurt all that often, but he still got injured. But him, RG3, Cam Newton, all these guys that were like more run first have all suffered injuries that affected them for the rest of their career. And to
Yeah.
want to guarantee that much money on someone that could get injured every season or have a crucial injury that takes the running game out of his game, it's a lot. It's a lot. They also went ahead and re-signed Justice Hill, the running back. Great move by them. And then one of their cornerbacks, Trayvon Mullen. But they got a couple people out on free agency, which is interesting. And Marcus Peters, who's 30 years
Mhm.
old, he's available out there. Calais Campbell still hasn't made a move. Sammy Watkins, which I can't imagine them bringing Sammy Watkins back again. I feel like he's been a guy that's just been floating around all over for whatever reason, trying to get prove me deals and hasn't been able to prove it yet. And then
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake, a guy that they grabbed during the middle of the season when injuries took place, he's
Yeah. They got him
also
from the
out there on
Raiders.
free agency. So those are gonna be some eyes to look at. I could see Kenyon Drake going somewhere again and getting another chance to sit behind and be a running RB2 possibly. As well as Calais Campbell, even though he's 36, still very great player, as well as Marcus Peters. Hoodie Jew, what's
Yeah.
good with you, baby?
What up, buddy?
I see Mozzie says we re-signed our running back, restructured Michael Pierce contract, and freed up $2 million. That's about it. Yeah, it wasn't too much. The biggest story with them is definitely just Lamar. Declan says Brandon Graham, Boston Scott, Fletcher Cox, James Bradbury, Darius Slayer all coming back, and Jason Kell's return. And Eagles, yes, we will get to the Eagles as well. There's a lot of moves by the Eagles. Some things that I really liked, they kept a lot of people, but they also lost a good bit of key players as well. And the CJ Gardner thing, that's going to be interesting. I feel like that's going to stay interesting for a while because for whatever reason, they don't want to sign him. And the fact that he had such a great season, is a little weird, and I wonder if other teams are gonna start believing this whole theory that he is a locker room cancer, and because why else would you not sign him if he did what he did this year at his caliber?
So I'm just giving you a heads up that
Yes.
currently right now we're getting hit with a severe thunderstorm. So if I fade out, that's probably why.
Okay.
So
Good.
just
Good to
like
know.
know now.
Good to know. We'll
Yeah.
keep pushing. We'll get you back.
Yeah.
Meg said the whole overpaid quarterback thing annoys the hell out of me. Reeks of desperation by teams. Yeah.
I agree.
It's a crap move by the Browns. The Browns are like, let's just be honest, guys. The Cleveland Browns are only in the league still because they're one of the founders. That's literally the only reason. I just can't see it being any other reason why to keep them. Their name is literally based off of one of the founders, Browns. Like that's his last name. It's stupid. Lamar hates the Titans. He didn't want to shake hands with him after the divisional game. Money will change your mind. I promise you that, Mozzie. And once again, what's good, Hoodie? 40 comes
Thank
in
you
and
for
says,
my hoodie.
first, what's good, 40?
What up, 40?
Casey Carson says Titans need to sign wide receiver Richie James Jr. over from the Giants, eh? Played in college at MTSU, drafted by San Francisco, downfield threat who can also return kicks and punts. I did like Richie James. You could probably get him for cheap too, but y'all still need a big, like, number one wide receiver. Like, I really like what Treylon Burks has done, and I don't think I have anything on the Titans today, so I guess we can talk about this for a little bit. I like Treylon Burks, and I think he's going to develop and be a good wide receiver for y'all. I don't think he's not going to be like an A.J. Brown, but he's going to be a good, a good wide receiver too. For y'all for a while, but y'all still don't have a true wide receiver one. I'm really surprised y'all didn't go all in on trying to grab someone like D-Hop or any of these big names wide receiver, even Slayton, just getting somebody, because Richie James, I wouldn't say a gadget player, but like you said, he does a little bit of everything, but he doesn't do anything phenomenally. That's the way I look at it. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. I don't know if you have a thought because I wasn't even thinking about talking about it, but I mean, they have made a few pickups, the Titans. They re-signed a few players. So, I mean, it's a slow start for the Titans, like a couple other teams. So, I mean, we'll see what they progress. And the rumor about them, stepping away from the running back, I'm like, that's just weird. That is just weird. I don't get that. Like, I don't get what Titans are doing either.
Yeah,
Titans another team that is rooted into the past too.
It feels like they're forcing themselves into a rebuild right now, and I don't quite know
so.
why.
Yeah.
Like, even though I haven't like necessarily been in love with what the Titans are doing, but they've still won games. This last year didn't work out, but y'all were what number one in the AFC a year prior or something like that. You were top two, and y'all obviously get first rounded, and that was a Tannehill problem. Like, why? Desperately need him a quarterback, but don't get rid of your main star. Like, I don't even know why you would even allow him to be shopped. Because if I'm Derrick Henry, I'd want to be shopped. I want to go play somewhere else. If I'm him.
They definitely need a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
Yeah.
If anything, they need an actual solid quarterback.
KCL says thoughts on St. Brown. Was that a misspell? I don't know who that is. You're not talking about St. Brown from the Packers. That's the only St. Brown wait, are you talking about the only St. Brown I know is the one from Detroit and the one from the Packers?
I'll say Detroit. Let me see if
is it Detroit?
I mean, in the Detroit transaction,
his name's Amonra St. Brown. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. It was just it auto-corrected.
I'm like, what is
Equanimous? I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Hip hop-a-toponis? Hip hop-a-toponis?
That's his name? Man, I just searched it. Let me search his name because I'm trying to figure out who the heck you're talking about.
We say last name so much, I don't even know. I'm like, damn, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, same.
From the Bears.
Okay. Yeah, it's from.
Okay.
That is how you see. Couldn't even tell you. That's how you know. Like, I didn't even know. Obviously, if I don't know his first name, I don't know enough about him to give you a accurate opinion on him. So sorry about that, Casey. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next one. Let's see.
Interesting. That is it. Much as I said his last name, I know I've said it, but I've never looked at his first name. That's sad. I apologize.
Yeah, same, same. All right, so
Now
let's
I
go
know.
ahead. We're
Yeah.
gonna push. Amonra is his brother. Oh, that's Amonra's brother. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Didn't know. Didn't know.
Osiris is another brother.
Is another brother. All right, so from there, let's go
Yeah.
ahead and talk about the Carolina Panthers, another NFC South team, just trying to get their stuff together. What a horrible year it was in the NFC South. It's no wonder why all these teams are so active right now in free agency, trying to get back up and be enjoyable to watch. Because I don't think anyone, even including like Saints fans or Panthers fans or whoever fans, enjoyed sitting down and watching the games. Like, there's definitely moments with the Saints team that I had to like occupy myself. Like, I'll have it on in the background, but I'll be doing other stuff because I just didn't want to deal with it. But the Carolina Panthers are gonna make some big moves, man. They go ahead and grab Miles Sanders from Philadelphia,
Hmm.
a guy that I think that was just truly underappreciated. His
Yeah.
his stats last year were very good, and I was seeing a lot of people talking about how they didn't think he got a chance to prove himself, and they were talking about how Game Will the year before had more touchdowns than him, and like all this. But did y'all not watch him play and like how great he actually
Especially in the
was,
playoffs.
especially in the playoffs? He had 1,269 yards this past year, 11 rushing touchdowns. He also had, I'm trying to see receiving here. Also, and then he had 20 receptions for 78 yards, but they didn't really get him working in the pass game. They used their triple-headed monster in Gainwell, Boston Scott, and then you can add the fourth being Jalen Hurts if you want. I think this is a great pickup by Carolina. He's not going to replace or be a better McCaffrey or anything like that, but I think this is a,
Yeah.
a great grab.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. Liked his gameplay from last year. He's always been kind of steady too, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, in previous years, looking at him, he had 800 his rookie year, 867 sophomore, 754 in 2021, and then this year finally kind of popping out and getting the 1269. And this is also a year that the Eagles were very good. So we talked about that during the regular season. Whenever we cover games, that whenever teams play good and wins games, players look better. So is this going to be
Oh
a
yeah.
case of that he just looked better because the whole team as a whole was really good, or is he actually at that level now? Did he finally rise to the occasion and got to where he can be a true RB1 for a team?
I mean, it could be just because the team overall got better, but at the same time, it wasn't like he was the only running back. He had those kind of numbers with two, like sharing the ball with two other
With
running backs
two other running backs and a quarterback.
and a running quarterback. So I mean, hopefully that's just it's something that's going to translate to his new situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more. Um, they also are going to grab a couple players from Cincinnati, being Von Bell, strong safety, and Hayden Hurst, the tight end. Hayden Hurst, again, another one of
Yeah,
those guys that's been flying all over the place.
yeah. I
They're,
like
they're,
Hayden Hurst too.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
Skylar was actually very upset that Hayden Hurst got traded. I was like, he's just a tight end. She's like, but I like him. They're also going to grab Shy Tuttle from the New Orleans Saints and Andy Dalton from the New Orleans Saints. What's your thoughts on the Andy Dalton situation? Do you think he's going to be that starter now that Sam Darnold is gone and over in San Francisco? Or do you think they still draft a quarterback? What do you think they do?
I think they're going to draft a quarterback, but Andy Dalton's probably going to start this season. They're going to have a quarterback behind him to learn the game. Because Andy Dalton, I think, is a good quarterback. He's just older. He's getting towards the end of his career, but he's still. There's still. I know as a Saints fan, you guys couldn't stand him, but there were
Yeah.
still times he looked pretty good. He looks pretty good
Yeah.
as a Saints
Yeah.
player. You know what I'm saying?
I
As
was
much as
very I
people
was
talk
very in
trash,
between. I was very in between on Dalton because like the
I've
thing
always
with
liked Dalton.
the thing with Dalton is that he never could do enough to win games, but he was able to do enough to always keep us in games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kept us in them, but couldn't win them. But you're going off the assumption that Carolina's going to do it the right way. Get a rookie quarterback, have him sit behind him, and like I don't even think it'll be for the whole year, but like the first 4 to 6 weeks, let him work under a seasoned vet that had a pretty successful career. With Cincinnati, then Dallas, Saints, and now going over to Carolina. I think that would be the smart play if they actually do it, or are they just going to make him
Yeah,
the backup, and that's just is what it is.
yeah. If they do it, that's the operative word. If
Right. Casey says if Jets are signing more receivers, does Corey Davis get cut? Does Elijah Moore get traded? We're gonna talk about the Jets. Man, I'll tell you what, Jets are going all in on the fact that they're going to get Aaron Rodgers. And, for those of y'all that listened to the Pat McAfee show the other day where he did say he wants to play this year, wants to play for the Jets, but he's still under contract. And everyone says that Aaron Rodgers has the upper hand, but, I mean, it's Green Bay, and we know how they can be a little stubborn with certain things, and they definitely can be like, okay, Aaron, well, you know what, you can just sit on the bench or just sit out and not play, and we'll just pay you because – we're the Packers and we don't care, like if you want to be an ass, like, and try to, hold us, what's the saying? Like hold us like
hostage.
Yeah. Hold us hostage. Then we'll just do the same right back to you.
It's a weird situation because he's already mentioned that he wants to be with the Jets, and they've already mentioned that they're ready to move on to Love. So it's like if you guys are both at the point where you're ready to have
Just
this
do it.
divorce, just have the divorce. Like, this is get it popping. You know what I'm saying?
You know what it is,
go have
bro?
fun.
It's like they're married right now and they're just trying to wait for their kids to go off to college before they make it official. Like let your kids will be fine. I promise you. They want the fans want you gone too. They're tired of dealing with your BS. Get a divorce, move on, and let's move forward. That's what they should do.
It'd be different if none of the admin people of the Packers said anything, but most of them come out already and said they're ready to move on. Like you're saying it, but you're trying to hold him hostage to a contract. Let the man go. Let him walk.
Yeah.
Let him walk.
Coco, welcome to the channel. Coco, how you doing today? Appreciate you stopping by. Hello. Says, I feel like Andy Dalton has a piss kink. The Panthers had a good free agency up to this point. That's wild, Coco. And that's wow. You know what? That's a crazy acquisition, bro. Wow. All right. Hopefully, Steelers pick up Bobby Wagner. Megan is very upset about that one. Says Seattle don't get him, and looking like we will. I hope so. We released Jack and Spilling. We're gonna need a solid linebacker. Yeah, Bobby Wagner, I'm surprised we haven't. That's what I'm saying. When I'm telling you there's still so many guys that are out there in the free agency right now that we're just getting started. These first 3 days are always the craziest, but this is going to last for a while. There's going to be some big names still getting moved around. Let's see. Anything else on Carolina? Carolina losing, obviously, Sam Darnold and P.J. Walker. They also lose their running back in Deontay Foreman. And then, let's see, they grabbed Deshaun Williams, I believe, but there's no contract set up yet for him.
Yeah, it just says agree to a contract, but there's no terms.
Yeah. So I think Carolina, like I said, they're doing the same thing as what the Falcons are doing. They're trying to move pieces around, kind of build up again, and trying to see what they can do. I'll be honestly very surprised if they don't grab Anthony Richardson. I think they want to try and get back to the Cam Newton days and see if he can be Cam 2.0. Whether or not that's going to happen, I don't know. I don't know if they have the staff to fix the certain I keep wanting to say kinks now because this dude said kinks on the chat. But like the little like fundamental things that he has wrong with his game that he needs to prove, like the little tweaks to go ahead and do that. But interesting moves. Again, it's going to be a tough year in the NFC South. I don't think anyone's going to play particularly phenomenal. I hope the Saints do, but even us, I think we're going to have to see how health and all that stuff works out. Hopefully, it's not another piss poor year.
Got to build chemistry.
Yep. So let's go on from the Carolina Panthers over to the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
What's your thoughts on the Bears' move so far, man? It seems like they're trying to, build up a team around Justin Fields, trying to give him some new targets. But I still think they're just going after mid wide receivers, no one that's phenomenally great. And I still am not sold on Justin Fields. I know people don't like my opinion on that, but when I've watched the couple of Bears games that I did sit down and watch all of, I always felt like he had enough time to get throws off, but would always scramble and then get sacked. It felt like the game hasn't slowed down for him yet, and it's been 2 years, and it's starting to wonder, will it ever slow down?
That's a very good question because I feel like what's going to happen this year is he's going to be named a starter, but by game 6, it's going to be PJ. It's going to be PJ.
You think that? Okay, see now that's bold. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far because PJ, you know, like PJ, I could
Yeah,
argue that I don't even know if he deserves to be in the league. If you want to be completely honest, like I know he had that one, like what was it, like a 72-yard touchdown pass or whatever it was, that long Hail Mary win. Um, that also lost my dang parlay. I'll never forget that. Made me so mad. I couldn't even
that's the
enjoy
only
the
reason why you
highlight
say
because
that.
it made me mad. It made me so mad, bro. Maybe that's why I don't like him.
That's the only reason why you,
I'm
you
hating.
said it
I'm hating on him because he lost my parlay.
because you was about to win a G right there. So yeah, that's the
Yeah,
only
that's
reason why you
exactly
mad.
what it was. About to win a grand, that dude had to go throw a Hail Mary. That bastard. Um, but
But
they're
I
gonna
do
go
agree.
ahead.
I do
Yeah,
agree with what you're saying though, where it always feels like Fields is just like right there. It feels like he's right there, and then something pulls him back. And it just could be just his own mind, where he's just not ready. He's not truly ready for the position that he was given, and that could be what it was. And it could be another position,
mhm.
another situation where it's going to take him 2 or 3 years, and possibly for another team, before he actually settles down into the position of being a
And
quarterback.
I could definitely see that because I mean he has everything except for the vision right now. Like he
Yeah,
has the speed, he has the arm strength, he's mobile, he's mobile, but he's also good at, like, for the most part, at least the games that I saw. I don't get to watch every Bears game, but like he doesn't try and take some contact. Like he's smart with when he goes out of bounds or when he spreads forward. Like he's very elusive. He has all the talents to be a great quarterback, especially in today's league that's moving towards these mobile guys, but still has got to allow the game to slow down and be able to throw wide receivers open and get that timing and things like that correct, because that he has not figured out at all.
yeah.
But looking at
But
the
like I'm
moves
saying,
that they've made, go ahead. I'm sorry,
I
I'm
mean,
cutting
like I
you off.
said, no, it's all good. Like I said, I know what you say about PJ, but trust me, PJ is more talented than what you think.
Yeah,
Like, he's much more talented than what you think, and he can take that position. He can take that team from him.
interesting. Okay, all right, y'all heard it here first. So looking at the pickups that they did, they have been very active. They're going to go ahead and
Mhm.
grab Tremaine Edmonds from
Very
Buffalo.
active.
What a great grab! What a great grab from
It's a
Buffalo.
hell of a contract.
It's a hell of a contract. 4 years, 72 mil, 50 million guaranteed, and 36.8 mil guaranteed at signing. So my boy Edmonds is very happy living in the Windy City right now.
Man, real talk.
Um, and then other than that, they go ahead and grab guard Nate Davis from Tennessee, Demarcus
Hmm.
Walker, defensive end from Tennessee as well. They grabbed T.J. Edwards, linebacker out of that Philadelphia's defense that played phenomenal last year, except for in the Super Bowl. Poor guys. Um,
Yeah.
but I really like that grab. They really bulked up their defense this year. Um, and then they're also going to trade away David Montgomery, but they're going to pick up the two running backs and one that we just said, which was Dante Foreman, and then also Travis Homer. Do you think they're going to be in the market for another running back, or you think they're going to keep? They're just going to run with oh goodness, what's his name? Let me see.
Uh,
I don't know why
I
I'm
was just
forgetting his
looking at that
name.
one before while you was asking the question. I was like,
Oh really?
one's definitely. I don't know, man. I like Deontay Foreman. I do think it's a pretty good pickup for them. Um, I do like what they've done on defense so far, because they definitely need to get some different edge rushers in there. Because, like you said, once again, the team, just like the quarterback, has been to the point where they're like this close in some games, and it's this close, and sometimes it's just a lackluster move on defense or a lackluster player on defense. And the additions that they made, I think, are good additions to the team. And that Edmonds pickup is nasty. That contract is disgusting. 50 million guaranteed. Oh my goodness. I don't
Yeah.
even know what to do with that.
Right. I wouldn't know where to start, bro. Like, could you imagine just like signing somewhere and then getting 36.8 mil as soon as you put your name next to the X on the line? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what I would do, bro. I don't
Get
know what I would do.
the instant deposit. That's the instant deposit.
The instant deposit, exactly, exactly. Um, let's see. Meg says over on the Hawks next now. Jens, catch you on replay. All right, Meg. Appreciate you stopping by. Much love, much love.
Appreciate
Coco said Justin Fields is overrated for sure. Bears making moves, but still gonna finish 7-10. PJ
you.
Walker is AAF legend. Fields is a worse version of Lamar. I mean, I think that's obvious, right? Like no one
Yeah.
are people really trying to say that like he's comparable to Lamar, other than that he's a mobile quarterback? Because it's night and day, truly. Maziel says Fields is gonna be good though. You can see his potential. He has all the potential there,
Yeah.
but it's the execution that's having problems right now. Like the execution just it's taking a while, and it just feels like as he started the full season this year. You would have thought by like week 10 or even late week 12 that things would have started looking a whole lot better, and it just never
Hmm.
did. And there never was like a mind opening like that's the guy. That's the guy that's going to do this. Like with his throwing, at least with his mobility and running. Yeah,
Oh
he had a
yeah.
couple of those, but with throwing, we never were like, he's got it now. He needs to do that. If he can
Yeah.
do that, 75% of the games, 60% of the games, we're going to have a 10 to 12 win season. But we haven't seen that.
Well, remember, not last season, but the season before, we were saying about him and Hurts is like we could see both of them really changing. We could see the change, the progression, and all of a sudden, it just seemed like Hurts is leapfrog
Leap, yeah.
way past. You know what I'm saying? We know it's a combination of the team just being better as well, but which is part of that is just on Chicago not doing their job and getting him the right weapons in the right defense, which I still like him. I don't think he's going to be a bum or a bust. I just don't think right now he's where he needs to be. I think it's going to take him a little more time. That's
Yeah.
just all it is.
Well, them beefing up their defense and hopefully, limiting some scores and stuff like that where he's not
Mm-hmm.
having to play from behind so often should definitely help his development. Because, like we said with Jalen Hurts, when you start winning, you feel confident. You settle in and you start
Oh yeah,
playing good. And if you can get a
you
couple
play different.
defensive wins, it allows him to take a deep sigh that he's probably been holding in for 2 years now of getting into the NFL.
Yeah, because then you trust the defense.
Maziel says he needs a O-line and weapons, and let's see how this goes. I do not agree with, I don't think his O-line is that bad. Like I said, maybe the games, like I said, I think I watched three games last season of them. None of them screamed at me, this O-line is terrible. None of them really did, and that's just me being honest. Maybe I just didn't watch enough.
And no, I agree with you. I don't think the O line is terrible. There's a few deficiencies, but there's at times when there was an issue where it started to collapse, he panicked. He just will panic, and instead of throwing the ball away, he would panic and do something silly. It's like, and that comes with the maturity within the game. And I do agree with Mozzie that just give him the right weapons, he can be better, but not to. It's still going to be time. That's all. It's really his main thing is time and becoming a better student of the game. That's where he's going to get better.
I mean, like right now, let's see. Their weapons right now consist of, like I said, I feel like it's a lot of mid guys. Like it's nobody that that screams this dude's gonna be able to beat any number one cornerback. They have they did grab DJ Moore from the trade.
I would say they got DJ Moore.
With them. And DJ Moore is nice, but I still like to call him Butterfingers more because I just feel like he drops a lot of passes. Now he did have Darnold throwing him, just
That
like
too.
right. The first name that I can't speak, that I can't pronounce, St. Brown. They have him. They have Darius Fountain. They have it's not even showing the guy that they grabbed from Pittsburgh, Claypool. It's a lot of. In Mooney. So they have Mooney, Chase Claypool, and DJ Moore. These are all number 2 wide receivers. I don't think DJ Moore is a true number 1. I think he's close. He's the closest out of all 3. But then you got Mooney and Claypool, which are like both wide receiver 2s, maybe 3s.
I mean, Clay's his mentality will make you think he's a 1.
Yeah.
His cockiness is a 1. His skills is too.
His cockiness is definitely one. You're right about that. Kobe said DJ Moore is pretty good. Yeah, I think DJ Moore is really good. I mean, he did have a really good year a couple years back where both him and Robbie Anderson were both playing phenomenally. Both had 1,000-yard catching seasons. But yeah, that's just my opinion, and I hope I'm wrong because I want everybody to play good. But going on from Chicago, let's go ahead and step over to the Cowboys. The Cowboys, the biggest thing is who they have in free agency right now that they're releasing. Let's see, why am I? There we go. What is Zeke gonna do? Who's gonna pick up Zeke? I was hoping that the Saints were gonna grab him. I really wanted to bring Zeke, and all the Saints fans can't stand the idea of it because I think truly just because he's a Dallas, plays for the Cowboys, but Zeke is coming off his best year that he's had since signing that big contract with them a while back. He had 0 turnovers this year, which was the number one problem that they had with him was his turnover. It felt like he was fumbling the ball every time he touched it. 0 this past season. And that's hard. That 0 is a hard number to hit for turnover. You most running backs at least fumble 1.
Yeah, once or twice. Yeah, throughout the season.
Didn't lose it a single time, and I believe he also had 13 touchdowns. He's a little bit older, and I think we're all aware of that. He's 27 years old. The age for running backs definitely starts to decline, and their pay after the age of 26, unless you're like a freak. Like a Derrick Henry or like Adrian Peterson whenever he was still trotting for a while. But the fact that no one's came out and grabbed him yet, it is weird to me. I thought that this was going to be, he's released, he gets scouted, and the next day someone was picking him up.
You would think so. You would definitely think so. I'm actually surprised they released him. I'm surprised they released him.
Same. I thought they were going to run it back with their dual threat running back, man. That was the majority of their game. That's what kept them solid all year.
That's why I say I'm surprised because that combination was actually a really good combination. But I mean, it is what it is. But as far as who's going to pick him up, that is a very good question. That is a very, very good question because that's a hefty price tag too.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to be cheap.
Coco says Zeke is good for RB2. Yeah, I think his time as a RB1, I mean, for some teams, I could see it. But I think he's a great RB2 on just about, 90% of the NFL. I think he'd be phenomenal with them. Zeke will go to the Bucs. Okay, Coco, I could see that. I could see Zeke going to the Bucs, especially with losing Leonard Fournette. I could definitely see Zeke going to the Bucs. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Besides that, they're going to go ahead and trade away Connor McGovern, their center, over to Buffalo. They trade away Noah Brown to Houston, which I think is a great grab by Houston. I'm sorry, not trade away, but Noah Brown's going to get picked up by Houston. Noah Brown kind of fell under the shadows of CeeDee Lamb for a while, and they just forgot how good he was, especially in the first 3 to 4 weeks. He was running the show. CeeDee was always getting his touches, but Noah Brown was right there. And,
always.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they just were like, oh, don't want him no more. Don't want to throw it to him no more. And I don't know what game happened to where they're like, oh, nope, he's not worth the attention, not worth the targets. I don't get it.
Now the question, what Coco said about him going to the Bucs, I don't know if he can because Bucs, their cap situation is very bad.
Yeah,
it's the worst in the NFL.
I wonder how much of that is going to change as the time progresses with different things. So
they're in the negative right now.
Yeah. I figured.
Negative $55 million.
As a Saints fan, I know the cap can be construed if you have a good a GM that really wants to do it, or they can just bite the eat it and just be like, all right, we're just gonna suck for a couple years and go back to our basement days. I mean, that's kind of like the Bucs motto, right? Come in, be a phenomenal team, win a Super Bowl, and then drop off the face of the earth and go back to last in the division and damn near last in the league for 5 to 10 more years, and then we'll come back in a bit and then try to get another Super Bowl. It seems like that's their trend.
They got Baker for cheap.
Oh yeah, he wasn't going to be much. And we will talk about the Bucs a little bit at the end here. And then the other free agent that I think is interesting as well is getting rid of Dalton Schultz, who, again, we just talked about. CD got the main targets. Then it was Noah Brown. And then once Noah Brown fell off and they stopped using him, Schultz was always right there. And Schultz has been consistent for him for 3 years now? Why are they getting rid of Schultz? Why are they not re-signing him? They just don't have the money to do it? I don't understand. Or they just don't put value in the tight end. I mean, Schultz is one of the few tight ends below your Kelce's, your Waller, and your Andrews that you could actually give targets to and be efficient with. And they're just kind of letting that go.
I really don't know. I like Dalton Schultz a lot. I think it's a bad move releasing him. Even though I know the rookie tight end they had actually wasn't that bad, but still, no, I wouldn't have got rid of him. I wouldn't have let him go.
Yeah, there's no way I was getting rid of him. All right, so to go on from Cowboys, let's go ahead and talk about Denver. Man, the biggest pickup for Denver, and I was watching, oh my god, Acho on his show earlier today, and he had them ranked really high in his free agent rankings, all because they went and grabbed the coach that they wanted, being Sean Payton. This is their number one pickup. Go and grab Sean Payton was huge for them, and you can tell that Sean is trying to put his stamp on this organization and making this his team. It's no longer who's their owner, Elway's. It's no longer Elway's team. He's like, I have the power. This isn't Russell Wilson's team. This is Sean Payton's team. They've done moves, dropped, picked up, moved a lot of people around, got rid of Russell Wilson's trainers that like to just sit around in the building. How do you think Sean Payton's going to do first year with Denver? Do you think it's going to be a big leap for them, or do you think they're going to kind of be hopeful but end up hopeless?
I mean, I think that they're definitely hopeful, because Sean Payton is a great coach. But I think it really depends on how that connection between him and the quarterback is, because the fact that he came in already kicked out people, took away his extra parking spots, took away his office, it's already starting off kind of rough. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely rough, and it's not the easiest transition so far. But I don't know. They got that Walmart money, man. Anything's possible with them.
That's true.
They got that Walmart
I didn't even think about it. I should have put a Walmart logo on over the picture. Change their colors from orange and blue to blue and yellow. But the thing is that Sean Payton is a tough coach. He's a no play coach, and you could tell that just through conversations that we saw with him with previous players from the Saints, whenever they had interviews and stuff like that, and how he said, he called out Mark Ingram one time for something in the middle of a show, and Mark was like, "Oh, my bad, sir." He was straight up, "I'm not playing no more." And he's like, "This isn't even your coach, and you still have that much respect and love for him that when he speaks to you, your tone changes. It goes from being your friend to you're better than that, Mark." And he's like, "Oh, my bad, Sean." Coach. Jerry G, what's up, OG? How you doing today, baby? Welcome back. But some of the moves that they've made so far, and it is a lot of them, they go ahead and grab Mike McGlinchey from San Francisco for a 5-year, $87.5 million contract. 50 guaranteed out of it. They're going to go ahead and send away Draymond Jones, who is the person that Megan was talking about earlier, who she really liked, defensive end. They sent him over to Seattle. They're also going to grab Ben Powers from Baltimore, a guard. They're going to grab Zach Allen, defensive end from Arizona. I'm sure anyone from Arizona is happy to be on a different team at this point, even if it is the struggling Broncos. They're going to grab the former starting quarterback for Week 17 from the Raiders, being Jarrett Stidham. Does Jarrett Stidham take the job from Russ?
I mean, I doubt he'll do that to Russ the first year.
Could you imagine that? I want it just for the chaos.
Crazy.
I want it for the chaos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll be beautiful for the chaos. I mean, I don't think so. I think he's
Yeah,
Stidham is he's still young, still capable. I mean, I don't know why McDaniels didn't offer him this contract. We could have easily kept him, but they just disregarded his feelings and say, "No, we good. Kick rocks," and that's why he
yeah,
left.
kick rocks. Yeah.
That's why he left. Not only
And
he left, he left to a team in the same
didn't he
division.
win? Didn't he win the last game too?
He
Did they?
lost the last game.
Oh, he did lose the last game. Okay, I thought he won the
Yeah,
last
it was.
game. I was about to say that'd be some shit, right? Like you basically tried out to be the starter for next year. You won, and then they're like, yeah, kick rocks.
And the bad thing about it is they picked him. That's who they wanted.
Right.
That's who they wanted. They picked Jarrett Stidham. So,
Um.
I do like the Samaje Perine pickup though.
The who now?
Not even look.
Oh,
I do.
okay.
I do like the Samaje Perine pickup though.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I'm really, really excited about that one. Perine played a phenomenal backup role in Cincinnati behind Joe Mixon, who is now under some issues. But I think he paid somebody, is what I've heard, because now all of a sudden the charges have dropped. So that's interesting. But Perine, great out the backfield, great receiving running back. Doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. Came in, started for Mixon while he was hurt. Played phenomenal. It was like they weren't missing their starting running back. I think he's a great pickup because they've been struggling. They at one point had like the running back squad that everybody wished they had. And then all of a sudden fumbles, then injury, and then this. And I think grabbing Perine is a really good fit. And I think that was the best move that they've made so far, as far as skill players go.
Oh yeah, I love Samaje Perine. Like I said, I had the starting back, and then when he went down, picked up Perine. It was like nothing happened with the squad. Since it was the same stat. The stats were slightly better. So, but like I said, I think that's a great pickup for them. I hate that they got him, but it's a great pickup. I think the Stidham is actually a good pickup for them. I mean, Jack Allen
gives you your backup. So
yeah, Mike McGlinchey, great addition. Ben Powers, good addition. I mean, some good stuff already for Coach Payton.
Yeah, I agree. And then switching over to Green Bay, man, this is just like a story, and like I'm sure we talked about it in the beginning, but like I'm just ready for it to end. Like let's just cut the ties. Like you said, stop trying to drag out this divorce. Wait for the kids to go to college. Get it done now. Y'all want to move on to Jordan Love. Go ahead and do it. They've, already they knew the Jets wanted him, and they start trading their wide receivers to the Jets and or allowing the Jets to pick them up, whatever, not re-signing them so the Jets can grab them and doing all these different things. Like, just let it happen. Just let it happen. Right now they've, like we said, trade away Alan Lazard, trade away Jaron Reed, re-sign Keyshawn Nixon. They trade away Robert Tonyan Jr. Still have Randall Cobb in free agency, trying to figure out where he's going to go. Mercedes Lewis, their backup tight end, still in free agency. Are they going to re-sign him, or are they just going to reupholster this whole tight end room? I feel like Green Bay is waiting for what they're going to decide to do with Rodgers before they can take steps forward. So they're hurting themselves twice. They're trying to stab him, but they're stabbing themselves at the same time.
I mean, all you've touched is a long snapper, a kick returner. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? You haven't picked up nobody.
Nobody.
Like, absolutely nobody. I mean, that's kind of wild, man. And like you said, they traded off so many pieces already. And with Cobb, Cobb is probably gonna get released.
Yeah, I mean, he was only there because of Rodgers anyway, because Rodgers just likes him. He doesn't really have a true
He was
role.
favorite target. He was one of his favorite targets.
Yeah.
What's up, Charles?
What's good with you, Charles? How you doing today, baby?
But I do agree. Just let's just sever ties. We know the world knows. We all know where he's going. Just let him go now. You know what I'm saying? Get if you can get some good stuff for him, because you're gonna get something back from him.
Right.
Just figure it out. Let's figure it out. You need to move on.
And that could be what it is. Maybe they're just trying to negotiate the best possible contract. Because I'm sure Green Bay's trying to sell him high. They're going to want a lot from him, even though he's an aging quarterback. He's coming off his worst year, which is still better than a lot of players' best years in the NFL. But,
true, very true.
It's gonna be interesting, man. Charles says, "Good. How about y'all? Doing good, Charles. Just been." nonstop on my phone the last 3 days. Nonstop. There's been so much going on. I get notifications every 2 minutes. I was like in the middle of class one time, and the teacher asked me a question, and like I've just been so like in habit of once a trade happened to look at my phone, like once I get a notification or a pickup happened. And she was asking me a question. I heard my phone vibrate, and I like stopped answering her, picked up my phone, looked. I said, "My bad." I said, "It's trade deadline. It's free agency week."
That's too funny.
But let's see. Let's go on from Green Bay. Let's go ahead and talk about them Raiders. What's up with the Raiders, Non? Let us know. Let us know what's good with them.
I'll say it like this: no one knows. Absolutely, no one knows. They don't know. Ziegler don't know. McDaniels don't know. They have no idea what they're doing right now. I feel like it's Denver 2.0, revisited, the second batch, whatever title you want to use for a sequel. It's happening right now. The fact that they have, it says they're signing Garoppolo. His actual signing is supposed to take place today. Is getting pushed back to tomorrow, quote unquote. The rumor is there's something wrong with the contract, but the other rumor is that he didn't pass his physical. That's what the actual rumor is.
Oh, Jimmy.
So that's
Jimmy
I've
trying
heard.
To go to the Bunny Ranch, not pass his physical, man. He ain't worried about it.
He already put the shot out to the Bunny Ranch, and the Bunny Ranch has already put a shot back out to him, saying they didn't post it on Twitter saying come through. But I mean. There's definitely some re-signings. They did the non-exclusive franchise tag for Josh Jacobs, which, I mean, right now, after the moves of Waller, I mean, everybody knows the car situation. Josh has already went on Twitter, and the Vines went on Twitter, and they're not happy.
Yeah.
They've posted so much stuff and deleted so much stuff. Them dudes are not happy. A lot of D linemen are pissed off. Like, they're just not happy. They're just not happy.
The thing with it, I think that surprised me the most. The stuff with Derek Carr. I mean, I know that has to be frustrating to half of the fan base because the other half are happy with it. But
yeah,
what I think is more eye opening that there's just so much chaos that isn't being spoken. That is, everyone sees it, but it's just not being spoken about. Is that Josh Jacobs comes off of his career year, best running back in the league this year. Played phenomenally. And he's pissed. You don't see someone have a career year and like possibly the best season of his career like that's ever gonna happen. Like this was a standout season for him, and he's pissed off and doesn't know if he wants to stay there or not.
Well, the deal was that with Josh Jacobs, talking with Ziegler and with McDaniels, he agreed to be tagged. He agreed on that. He didn't have a problem with it. He said, as long as you build the offense up around me. And then the first thing they do is get rid of Waller. That's the first thing you do. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. You got rid of technically one of the top 2-3 tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he was injured, but he's still formidable. Like, no matter where he's at, even if he's on the field and not even catching the ball, there's still eyes on him, regardless. So I mean, some of the moves, and then you're signing all these expatriates.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. He's just bringing back his old squad. Like he's you understand like coaches when they come in and they get their especially if they come from a coordinator and they switch over or whatever, they start bringing in guys that they're comfortable with, that they drafted, that they believed in, that they stood for. For him to go out and grab Jacoby Myers, I feel like is like just kind of a slap in the face, man. Like. What has Jacoby Myers really done? His hype around New England was so high, and I mean, I don't like the Patriots quarterback. I don't think he's as good as what everyone's tries to make him out to be. But like, you go grab Jacoby Myers, you grab Jimmy Garoppolo to be your starter, but you don't have a backup right now. Like you just said, you got rid of Stidham, you got rid of Carr. And he's been injured the last 2 years, and injuries that affect his throwing ability at that. He has the worst downfield passer in the league.
He doesn't throw anything more than 20. He doesn't go past 20 yards. He has not. He's in his last 20 games. He's went past 20 yards. I think they said 6 times.
Yeah.
And then it was like Carr has done it 38 times.
And y'all have Devontae Adams. You know, like... You're basically taking
you talk You
You're
talk
taking
about
away your
Jacoby
skill
Myers,
guy.
and you say, what has he done? You know what he's done the last year? He has made the most pivotal mistake of throwing the ball back to the quarterback and letting his quarterback get smushed and ran over by a defensive lineman where they scored
Where
a
they running back for a
game-winning touchdown.
touchdown.
Like that's what he's done. That's what he's known for right now.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's known for. And
I
you
mean,
pick him up because
I remember when he
that's
came
great
in his
decision
rookie
making.
season. I remember when he came in his rookie season, everybody was like, "This dude is going to be great. He's going to be, the guy that New
Yeah,
England needs. He's going to be the next big dude."
that's what everybody thought.
I think he had one touchdown his rookie season. I think it was one. He might have had a couple rushing, but receiving, he only had one receiving, I believe is what it was. I could be a little wrong, so don't quote me on it, but I know it was low. But yeah, the only signing that I do like that they did was going grabbing Marcus Epps. I think that was a good grab.
Yeah,
27-year-old
I do agree
safety
with
from
that one.
Philadelphia. They signed him for a 2-year for $12 million. So not even that much. What he's getting, he's getting $10 million of it guaranteed, and 7.7 of that guaranteed at signing. I think that was a really good grab by him.
I mean, I'm glad they kept Amir. They re-signed him. The Jacob Johnson, that's definitely a depth pickup. I do like that. Re-signing Brandon Parker, somebody we actually need to come back. I mean, Jerry Tillery, like I'm glad he came back because we need him. He just started playing well at the end of the season.
Yes.
Spillane and Faison, those are good pickups, but they're depth pickups. They're depth. I don't know
They're
how
depth guys,
pivotal
yeah.
they're going to be. How pivotal they're going to be in the game. I mean,
And
but
especially on a
based off
defensive
Graham's
side
gameplay,
where
I have no idea.
y'all need help. Like y'all need help. But
Yes, yes.
offensive line and defense is just
Jimmy G for
horrible.
MVP.
Like you gotta grab bigger name guys and get you a supporting cast, especially if you're bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo, who has looked really well, when he's played. But he's playing with one of the most complete teams in the NFL, being the 49ers. 49ers have a complete squad, like compared to most teams, and he's gonna get smushed, man. He's gonna get.
I mean, like I said,
some big stuff.
the fact that we know that Jimmy G was actually plan number 3 when you look at they really was going to bring in Brady was actual plan number 1, and then Rodgers was a possible plan number 2, and Garoppolo's plan number 3. Like, come on, man! Like, this is back up after. I just hope that he makes it through at least 10 to 12 games. I don't think it's going to happen, but just give me 10, 12 games.
That's the hope. I don't think it's going to happen either.
I don't think so either.
But we'll go ahead and talk about the Dolphins a little bit. Where the heck are the Dolphins on this damn board? Here we go. I found them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to go to the bottom. So the biggest thing for the Dolphins isn't necessarily a free agent pickup, but a trading where they go and grab Jalen Ramsey. And who came out and said at a Miami Heat game that he's excited to play with the best cornerback duo in the league. They're building something special over in Miami. I think they still got to figure out that quarterback situation. But the moves that they did on offense last year and getting their skill guys, getting their 2 wide receivers, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill was phenomenal to watch. And then now having on the opposite end the 2 cornerbacks, two top guys in the league. Even with Jalen Ramsey getting a little bit older, it doesn't matter. I think this is a good move by them.
I do. I agree with you. I agree 100%. I think I like what they're doing. I just feel like that there's going to be a point with Tua. He's getting his concussions left and right. I think one or 2 more, he's out the league.
It has to be.
There's a point where you can't. That's the reason why Steve Young didn't stop playing, because he got too many.
Yeah.
And it's not. And Tua is not even running as much as Steve Young did. Steve Young was a running quarterback before there was really running quarterbacks, and he got hit a lot. So I hope it doesn't happen for Tua, because I do like him, and I don't like seeing players get injured regardless of what team they're on. But I mean, I do agree with you that Jalen Ramsey is a phenomenal pickup, a great pickup, and what they're doing in Miami is they're building something special. I do like that. The re-signing of Jeff Wilson, very smart. The re-signing, and they both got him for small contracts. So that's actually really smart.
Mostert was
really
actually
smart.
a guy that was in my eyesight whenever we were thinking about like free agency pickups for the Saints for the running back position. He was a guy that they didn't run the ball a whole lot. They didn't really run the ball much at all whenever Tua was playing. But whenever they had their backup in while Tua was hurt, they ran a lot. And Mostert and Wilson were doing big things. I think that's a
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
signing for them. I know they're both a little older, 27 and 30, but I think those are two great keeps. And then
I mean, they also
signing their
re-signed Miles
backup.
Gaskin too.
Who now?
Miles
Oh, Miles
Gaskin too.
Gaskin. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Um, and then also grabbing Mike White from the Jets. I honestly like that too. I thought Mike White should have stayed starting in front of Zach Wilson last year. If you want to be honest with you,
yeah.
I think Mike White is a backup. They aren't going to be. Doesn't look like they're going to be going with Teddy Bridgewater anymore or the rookie from
Mm-hmm.
last year. Have Mike White back there. I think that was a pretty decent deal as well. But the biggest question with me for the Dolphins right now is letting Mike Gesicki go. They stopped throwing him the ball. I get you got your two number one wide receivers now, so his targets are going to get minimalized. But a year prior, he was among top of the league for tight ends for receptions and yardage. So that one's kind of interesting. I'm interested who's going to go ahead and pick him up. I know a lot of Saints fans wanted to grab him. I think we're good with Juwan Johnson, but
Yeah, I like Jawan Johnson.
me too.
I
Me
like
too.
him a lot.
But
Yeah.
whoever gets Mike Gesicki is going to get a damn good tight end that likes to block, good at catching, can't do a gritty worth a damn. But
I mean,
you know,
we do need another tight end since we got rid of two of them.
maybe he could be maybe he'll be a Raider. I almost said Patriot because that's all y'all like to sign now is for Patriots. But
I mean, we got rid of our star and then didn't re-sign the backup, who's actually solid.
I mean,
But
is
cool,
Gesicki like from Boston or something like that? Like just to give McDaniels a reason to pick him up? Like I
maybe,
don't know.
maybe.
Um, what's good, Nate? Nate says, "Good day. We eating at the Soul Kitchen again." Oh, man,
Oh,
is it?
what you got? What
Wait,
you eating?
I'm about to say, did you get the same thing again, or did you try something else?
And then as far as what you asked about the Raiders games, so the game that everybody liked the most for him was the one he played. As soon as he took over the game, he took over. The first one was against the Niners. They lost out by 3. The last one, they got blown out by the Chiefs.
Okay, got it. Oh, that's what it was. It was the Chiefs. Yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely didn't win that one. Shrimp po' boy and gator sausage. I've never even had
Oh,
gator sausage, Nate.
I've
I've had
seen gator
gator, but I've never had
sausage.
gator sausage.
I've never eaten it, but I've seen it.
I
And
love
when I was
gator.
when I was in Louisiana,
Yeah,
matter of fact,
there's this place called
if them gator
Pato's.
nuggets be hidden.
Pato's got that's what it's basically gator nugget, but it's fried gator po' boy. Boy,
Mm-hmm.
I could taste it right now, dude. My mouth is watering. Um,
Like,
but
y'all
go
probably
on
looking
from
at us like
there.
it's crazy, but that shit good.
Oh yeah. To go from there, we'll go ahead and talk about the Saints. Saints have been very active. We know we need to get a running back in to replace Alvin Kamara while he's inevitably going to be suspended for how long we're not sure yet. A lot of people are assuming 8 games. They're going to go ahead and grab Jamal Williams. The Jamal Williams one I'm excited for because I like Jamal Williams' like presence on a team. He's definitely a fan favorite in Detroit. A little weird, a little goofy. There actually is a clip of Cam Jordan who's a little weird and goofy himself that in an interview talked about Jamal Williams being cringy, and I think that's hilarious. And now they're teammates, and so that's gonna be funny. Everybody's like, Cam Jordan better apologize now. But they're going to grab Jamal Williams, who had his best season to date in his career this past, where he led the league in touchdowns. But the problem is, prior to that, he was very irrelevant. I think he barely achieved over 650 yards rushing in all the years prior. So last year could be a point where he just had a spark finally, or it was just an outlier, and that's not what we're going to expect from him. What's your thoughts on Jamal Williams and him signing with the Saints?
I do think because of what the situation they're going through, it is a decent pickup. But I mean, what you're saying, I think, is very, very, very relevant to his current situation. I mean, I don't know, the 12 million, I guess, is worth it. You know what I'm saying? Because not a lot, and then the guarantee 8. But I mean, my most exciting is the Juwan Johnson. That's to me
Re-signing
like
Juwan
the
Johnson was huge.
yes,
Yes.
because I think he is a physical specimen, and I have a good feeling he's going to be either at 800 or 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah. I mean,
Derek Carr loves tight ends.
once MT went out last year, we had no red zone presence, and it wasn't until much later on that we finally remember we had Juwan Johnson, and then
Yeah,
every time in the
he
red
was
zone,
eating.
everyone knew he was getting the ball, but it didn't matter.
You
He
couldn't
was
stop
scoring.
him.
You couldn't stop him.
He's so athletic and so big, like, and he's muscular. He's fast. He got good hands. Like,
Well, and the thing with
he's going to
Juwan
have a
is
good
that
year.
Juwan is a wide receiver turned tight end. He started off in the league as a wide receiver. We transitioned him over to a tight end. He put on some weight, put on some more muscle, and so we know he has hands. And now that he's kind of made that transition and really starting to get, into it and really understanding the scheme and his job, I think it was a phenomenal grab. I'm so happy we re-signed him.
I mean, he jumped from 159 yards in 2021 to 500 yards in 2022. And like you said, they didn't really pay attention to him until pretty much the latter part of the season. Just imagine if they started throwing it to him in the beginning part. It didn't have to be game 1, but game 3 or 4. He's sitting on 1,000 yards almost.
Oh, yeah. I totally
and
agree.
Possibly like 12 touchdowns. He had 7.
And, bringing up our new quarterback, being Derek Carr, coming in from the Raiders, signed him for a 4-year, 150 mil, 100 mil guaranteed. We know he loved Darren Waller. He likes his tight ends. So,
tight ends. Yeah.
Him and Juwan are going to definitely have some good chemistry. And the most exciting thing with Derek Carr is that I think once Michael Thomas spoke to him, that's what truly sold him on being here. He was kind of bouncing back and forth of what he wanted, whether he wanted to be a Jet. I think Carolina was talking to him. I believe there was a couple other teams that were speaking with him. And inevitably, after he had that phone call with MT, he said he felt like I wanted to run through a wall. And that was the closing point. And we were able to get the job done. We finally... fans finally got to experience what it's like for us to want a player in free agency and then actually go and get him.
I'm gonna tell y'all this. Y'all were his probably only real choice. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The reason why it took so long to get him is because he didn't want to give the Raiders any picks. I guarantee you that's what it was.
Oh,
because the way they treated him and what he Derek Carr, I think he's had 12 injuries. 12 injuries that the average quarterback would have been out. He didn't miss any games.
Yeah. The only only injury that ever took him out was the one in his MVP caliber year.
And that was the playoffs, so and they don't consider that part of the regular season. So he's never missed a regular season game. So, but I like Derek Carr. I'm a big fan. You know what I'm saying? I've been a fan for a very long time. Been a fan of his brothers, and for me, it's like I'm a Raiders fan through and through. But I want Carr to have such a good season.
Yeah,
and it's not even for the Saints. It's just to prove to everybody else that he actually is good. Yeah. It's like he's actually good. Like just give him the right situation. The dude is actually good.
Lucky for him, the NFC South is in shambles. So I mean, him coming here instantly makes us the top of that division. Just hopefully it's not a top of the division, but only getting 9 wins. Hopefully we can get back into those double-digit days. Hopefully MT can stay healthy. MT's already he's logged off of social media. He said we'll talk next year. He signed a friendly deal, basically a prove-it contract, coming off an injury. Got the quarterback that he also wanted, tweeted out, thank God, as soon as the news broke that we were signing him. If he can stay healthy and we can manage with Jamal Williams and whatever other running backs, I still think we need to grab one in the draft. If we can manage with them for those 8 weeks or whatever it may be without AK, we'll have a fun season. And I really hope we do. The Saints need it after last year. It was so brutal to watch.
So what are your thoughts on Jameis sign up for the backup position or just re-signing? I won't say backup for sure, but re-signing, you know what I'm saying?
So what Jameis has came out and said is that the reason why – now, Jameis also is very good with his words. He's a very good – he has a job in the HR department when he retires. But he basically said, he's like, I wanted to stay here because, reasons of him being injured the last 3 years that he's played – that he kind of has to prove himself again, and he wants to get fully healthy and all this stuff. He said he still thinks he can be a starter on a championship caliber team and stuff like that in the league. But he said inevitably it was because the response from a lot of the fans and the city, and he said like he embraces this culture. He said he feels at home here. Once he moved here, he felt at home, and he said he wants to stay another year and see what happens, get fully healthy, and then see what happens at the midway point of the season. I'm assuming or next year in free agency. So
I
I
respect
think it
that.
was huge that we were able to keep him. You know, got rid
Yeah,
of a couple players, got rid of Dalton, got rid of
yeah,
Deontay Hardy, Marcus Davenport. All these guys that we got rid of was kind of in the air that we really didn't want. Like Hardy didn't feel like he wanted to be here anymore after we grabbed Rashid Shaheed, who broke his kick return record in college. I feel like he was checked out once that happened. Marcus Davenport just never fulfilled the shoes that we thought he would, being our first round pick a couple years back. Him being gone is no surprise. Shy Tuttle aging, no surprise. The only one that really hurt us is Caden Ellis. But
yeah. That one,
again,
yeah,
it was one of those situations where you reconstruct your Demario Davis's contract, and then you have to get rid of him. He deserves to get a paycheck, and we weren't going to give it to him. And then the pickup of Kalen Saunders as well as Nathan Shepard to help out with that defensive line. Saunders, I really love. I'm not a huge don't know a whole lot about Nathan Shepard, but Saunders is going to fill in that role of David Onyemata, and I'm really excited to see what he's able to do with the black and gold.
yeah. I mean, I was just actually looking at trying to see more information about him.
Yeah, so he had 3.5 sacks last year, but his
Mhm.
presence is what's tough because he's a big guy. If you remember during the Super Bowl, him chasing down Patrick, sorry, not Patrick, but
Yeah,
chasing down Jalen Hurts, that's him.
mhm.
So he's this big dude, but can move as well. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what he's gonna do. What's up, G-Zed? How you doing today, baby? Says Levels. How you feel about Williams? Optimistic, a little worried though. I really wanted us to go and grab Zeke. I didn't think contractually wise we could have grabbed him, but that's who I wanted us to get. But Jamal Williams, if he can make last year's not be, I don't need him to be touchdown leader, but I just need him to be efficient when he gets the ball. If he can do
Yeah,
that,
just
then I think
consistent.
it's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
consistency. That's really what you need from him. Is
Yeah.
consistency.
I'm definitely excited. I think he fits a lot of the guys like locker room presence. Like he's outgoing, goofy. We have a lot of guys with Jameis, Cam, and all those guys that are kind of like that too. I think he's gonna fit in well. No one's ever said anything bad about him. He's definitely a fan favorite, like I said earlier. So I'm excited. We'll see what happens. We'll see what unfolds. And then we're talking about the Patriots twice because we talked about Josh McDaniels and his Las Vegas Patriots. Now we're going to talk about the New England Patriots. They go and grab Juju Smith-Schuster. What an upgrade!
That was very interesting.
The most interesting part about it, and this was another thing I wanted to go and grab before we got on, but I didn't have time, was the amount of trash talking that Juju has done to Patriots and their organization his whole entire career is phenomenal. He got spotted somewhere and was taking a picture with a fan that was wearing a Patriots jersey, and he's flicking him off like he's flicking off the jersey as he's taking the picture. He's tweeted making fun of the Patriots before, and now he's a Patriot. So it's funny how the world comes full circle with things like that. What's your thoughts on him going there?
When I seen the come across a ticker and it said Juju to the Patriots, I was like, why would you go there? Like, why? Like, they're not contending no time soon.
Well, he
Like,
got
what?
his championship.
So what? Let's get another one.
I mean, that's how I would be too. But I mean, he got his. But
Yeah.
So, and then also it hasn't updated yet on here, and this actually news came out right as we were about to start up. But they also go and grab DeAndre Hopkins. So now the Patriots with Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins running the 1 and 2. Do we think that that's gonna make a big change? Because now I feel like if you're Mac Jones, you have no excuse but to perform at the level that they believe you had when they drafted you.
What's the backup for them? Zappy?
Zappy, yeah. Unless they, yeah, no.
That's Zappy's team.
That's Zappy's team. That's what you think.
That's gonna be
That's
Zappy's team. That's Zappy's team, bro.
So apparently, Mac Jones had a list of guys that he was recruiting. He added them on Facebook or on Instagram and was DMing them. and I
Really?
think I think like four out of the like seven so far or something like that he's talked to has
Hmm.
came to the Patriots. Another big name that I saw on the list is Odell, who we know is still a free agent right now, still shopping around. I think he wants a multi-year, like 20 mil contract or something like that, which is a little pricey for a guy that's torn his ACL in back-to-back seasons. Um,
Yeah.
but that's another guy on the list. Um,
Interesting.
do you think that it can make a difference, like a true difference, like with these wide receivers?
Uh, I I think there can be a change. There can be a positive change on the team. But as far as them being like truly competitive as far as playoffs, I just don't know.
Do you think it
Because
gives them enough to be compete for top of the division, especially if especially with the way the Bills have been, the way the Jets are trying to elevate and grab Rodgers.
oh yeah, if the
Do you
Jets
think
get
it allows
Rodgers,
them? Go ahead.
if the Jets get Rodgers with the Rookie of the Year for offense and defense, they have a good offensive line. They have good, great some good receivers. They're not beating the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well,
I don't think so
I,
either.
yeah,
I
I
don't
just
think
don't
so
see
either.
it.
Now, one pickup that I also really liked, and I feel like it wasn't talked enough about, was getting James Robinson um, from the
Hmm.
Jets. Robinson played great with Jacksonville. I was actually super excited when the Jets grabbed him. Since they were going a different direction with the rookie running back that they grabbed. Um, I thought the combination of James Robinson and Bryce Hall was going to be like the 1-2 punch that the Jets like
Yeah,
were going to explode with. But they
yeah,
had to free up some cap space and different things like that because they're trying to get Rodgers. Now he's with the Patriots, and now I feel like they have a full offense. Like I think they have all the components. It's just can Mac Jones or what you're saying is Zappy get them there?
that. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where as long as you have that coach who's a very good coach offensively, the potential is always there because he has a playbook that is bigger and better than most coaches. He's very smart, great mind, but it's just how far can Mac Jones actually take them? You know, I know I joke and say Zappy. I just think Zappy might be a little bit better. He's just younger and he needs more
Yeah,
time. But I don't. As far as them, they're going to be competitive, of course. It's NFL. Every team is
everybody's
technically
competitive. Yeah.
competitive. But as far as them, you know, beating out other teams in their own division,
I
I
just
don't
don't
know.
see it. If the Jets get Rodgers, I think Bills stay number one. Uh, hoping. I mean, I think they definitely need to make some moves, like we talked about with Nate during that playoff match, where just inevitably they just couldn't pull things together. But and then I think Jets compete for number one if they truly get Rodgers. I think they have enough to compete just because of Rodgers alone.
Yeah,
And then you talk about the Dolphins and them and where they sit, and like they're making a lot of moves to be, to try and level up while everyone in the division is doing the same thing. But is it enough? Time will tell, because I just don't believe in Mac Jones, and like you said, Zappy's still young, and like I don't think he's that guy either. But good wide receivers can make quarterbacks, mid quarterbacks look great. So we'll see.
very true. Let's
What's up,
see.
Skylar? Nate says, sent y'all a
What
poor
else,
boy
Skyler?
pick. All right, I'll look at it in a little bit.
Definitely check it.
Cheetah says, how you guys feel about the Aaron Rodgers drama? We talked about it a good bit, man. We're actually coming up to the Jets, so I guess we can talk about it a little bit. But we already talked about it in large earlier. Um, we're just ready for it to get done. But
Yeah,
outside of the Jets, trying to get Aaron Rodgers still, they're trying to fulfill his shopping list of players that he wants. He wanted to leave Green Bay because he didn't like the weapons that they were giving him, but he also wants all the same weapons back again, which is just interesting. So Jets do manage to get Lazard. They haven't gone after Randall Cobb, who is a guy that Rodgers still wants on his team. And then let's see who else they grab. They re-signed their kicker, re-signed Solomon Thomas. They haven't really made that much craziness yet because they're once again just like Green Bay stuck on shackles to try and see if they can make this move. Because if they don't get if they don't go and get Aaron Rodgers, well, then their cap opens up a whole bunch, and they
Yeah.
can go
Oh
and
yeah.
grab a bunch of different skill players or defensive players or whatever it is that they need and go spend the money to do it. But a lot of these top guys are gone now or on a different team, so they're stuck in a neck hold as well.
Um, it's going to be interesting to see what they do because they still need to add a few more pieces just to make it a fully complete team. I think what they have with the young players, it's a good team already. It just to truly compete and take over the East because, like you said, you got Buffalo, Miami, New England, and the Jets. I feel like New England's they're gonna be competitive, but they're not. They're probably gonna still be in third or fourth place. Miami with their addition is gonna really give Buffalo a run for their money this year.
You think?
Buffalo, if they don't make the right, yes, if Buffalo make the right changes, they're gonna end up the same thing they've been doing the last couple seasons.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
there's something happens with them in translation from regular season to playoffs. Most time teams step up. It's just something that happens that doesn't computes
Yeah,
for them completely.
right.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, feel you. And keeping it pushing, we'll go ahead over to the Eagles, the Super Bowl contenders, losers. I don't know what the I guess the appropriate way to call them is. Um, a lot of things moving in Philadelphia. Some good, some bad. Deck talks about a lot of the re-signings that they have, but they also lost a lot of good players. And for a team
Mm-hmm.
that finally felt complete and to lose a whole bunch makes you wonder: was that the peak? Are they going to be able to get there again? Or is this a 1 year deal? Looking at it, they lose Hargrave, they lose Andre Dillard, they lose Miles Sanders, they lose T.J. Edwards, they lose Marcus Epps. But at the same time, they're able to keep Fletcher Cox, able to keep James Bradberry. Even though they initially released Darius Slay, they go ahead and sign him back in that whole episode of things. And then they also go and grab Rashad Penny from Seattle, which I think is a great move. Even with
Mm-hmm.
even with his injuries that he's having to deal with, I think him healthy is a great addition. I think he's definitely better than Miles Sanders when he's healthy, but health is definitely a question. What's your thoughts? Do you think Philadelphia is going to be able to compete again next year with some of these changes, or what?
I do think they'll be able to compete again. I liked what the re-signings and like you said, the Rashad Penny I think is a good addition. I'm glad they were smart enough to keep Darius Slay under a new contract. Um, as far as like what ended up happening, it's like I'm not even sure what really happened. You know what I'm saying? Like what really just went wrong at the end. Like it
Yeah,
just kind of the train just
fell
kind of
apart.
fell off the rails at the very 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 end. It just something just happened. Something weird just happened. But I still think they're gonna be very competitive. Because you in a division with the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders.
Commanders, no one's worried about them.
No,
Giants, I mean, Giants had a decent season last year compared to the
they
rest,
won
but
nine
like
games.
you're still not worried about them though.
Yeah,
You have to see that happen consistently to even have them on your radar. I'm not worried about the Giants yet. The Cowboys, I mean, I'm very much worried, even though they got rid of Zeke, which I think is definitely a big loss. Or at least he's a free agent now. Who knows? But maybe he can't get money elsewhere, and they decide to re-sign him and keep him. There's no telling. But
maybe,
they go and grab
maybe.
Gilmore, which is a big move. To try and now have Trayvon Diggs and Gilmore to guard AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
Hmm.
They're strategically picked up players to beat the Eagles. That was the Cowboys' goal in free agency this year.
Now, I mean, for them, they just really need to stay health.
Yeah,
They've had so many big injuries happen for them. Health is a big issue. Now, will Eagles win 14 games again? Probably not.
yeah.
But I mean, I still think they're going to be very competitive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree. I agree. Deck says, yeah, Gardner Minshew going to the Colts. Right now it's Jalen Hurts
he
and
about
then
to
Ian
start.
Book. Yeah, he's probably gonna start. You're probably right
He
about that.
about to start.
He gonna start. He gonna start. That's without a doubt. And then them, other guys that are still in free agency right now that was previously on their team last year. being Ndamukong Suh, who we all knew just came in to come win a Super Bowl and just come and compete. I don't see him necessarily re-signing. I don't even know if he really wants to play football anymore. I think he just played to give some help and try to win a championship. And then the things that are going on with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and whether or not he's going to re-sign. He's, doing his whole thing like he did with the Saints. So, basically, telling them to F off and, showing that he's mad in these cryptic tweets. But Chauncey's a very passionate guy. We'll say that. And so, like, whatever's on his mind, he makes sure it's heard very well. So, you think they sign Chauncey? And if they don't, do you think teams get fearful of signing him? Because then I think that locker room cancer rumor gets spread and people start believing it, especially after the year he had. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, teams, when it comes to issues of, personality and how things, how a bad personality can cause the whole bunch to be sour, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Teams will take an L on that player, even though he could be so talented. They'll take the risk of not having that position be as good just because they don't want that in the locker room anymore. So as far as them taking their time, they're playing it smart. They're trying to figure out what they really want to do with him. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, having him on the Saints. I mean, I know he got into one little scrap with Michael Thomas during practice one time, but like, for me as a fan, obviously I don't know what goes on in the locker room. As a fan, it never felt like people couldn't stand him. Like we knew what energy he was going to bring. He's a pest. He's like a Patrick Beverly of the NFL, but he's actually very talented, and he showed it this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing with him. Now, I mean, Deck, what do you think, man? Do you want him to re-sign CD, or do you want him to let him go? Like what's the rumors circling around Philadelphia?
I think Dex want everybody back.
Yeah. And Deck also, as soon as he hears the word Cowboys, got to let us know that they suck. and not just they suck everybody. So they're just out there giving it out. He was signing former Brown cornerback Greedy Williams a new home for the former LSU. Okay, cool. Yeah, that hasn't even got up to date on ours yet. So these are the ones the notes that we're getting are with things that have already happened. So if it's happening right now or within the day, we might not see it. Declan says yes, sign him. All right, cool. It's what's said is said, and what's done is done.
Declan said you gotta do it.
We got 2 teams left, and then we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. We got the San Francisco 49ers. Their biggest signing is getting Javon Hargrave. Now, I've seen a lot of people, including our guys, our now family members with ECG, the homies from East Coast Gridiron, did a whole segment talking about how they don't believe Hargrave is really as good as what he seems, that he benefited from playing with a really great line, and that his numbers were inflated because he was stuck in single coverage while everybody else was getting double teamed, and he was just the guy that got let through. Now, knowing ECG, he does his research. He doesn't put the opinions out there that he doesn't believe in. Like, he'll go back, watch footage, and break it down. And he has a whole video on it and breaking it down. If y'all want to go and check him out, make sure y'all go check out that video if y'all are interested. East Coast Gridiron is their channel name.
Great channel.
Yeah, great channel. We give out opinions. They really do give out really good facts. I think that's the best way to break it down. But in saying that, he goes from a similar situation from Philly to San Fran. San Fran, complete team, great line. And so it doesn't matter if he was faking it or not, because he's going to get the same amount of pressure because their line is already stacked. And this is just adding to the puzzle.
I mean, if they're saying he's coming from a situation where he was the only person not necessarily getting double teamed or getting forgotten about, look where he's going. He's going to a place where it's gonna be exactly the same. Exactly. Have you seen their offense?
Right.
Their offense, they have the defense, they have number ones at almost every position. So it's like it's not really surprising. He's gonna have. I think he's still gonna have a good year. Might even have a better year because their defense is very stingy.
Yeah, very stingy, very much so. Update this real quick. And then them giving away Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders. which means that they're fully seems like fully committed to oh goodness, what's his damn name? Trey. What's his last name? Why am I forgetting this dude's last name?
Welcome back, Megan. They already done with their stream? I'm sorry. What were you saying, sir?
I'm trying. I don't know why I'm forgetting this dude's last name. It's just pissing me off. The San Francisco's quarterback that got hurt. Why am I forgetting his damn name?
Oh, oh my God.
We're both because they're all deeming him the quarterback, but we haven't seen him enough to be Trey Lance. Thank you, Jesus. I knew it was Trey something, but I couldn't think of it. All right, anyway, so
as soon as you said it, I was thinking like Jordan Love. I was like, that's not it. That's not it.
That's not it. But
you
know, getting rid of Garoppolo, you know, shows that they're definitely committed to Trey Lance. Him coming off his injury, and you know whether we'll actually be able to see him play a full season again. But you know. They also go and grab Sam Darnold, which feels like inevitably might end up being a starter. Or you have Brock Purdy, who was the rising star last year whenever everybody went out, and he came in and saved the day, Mr. Irrelevant. Who starts over there, man? Who do you want to see start, and who you think is more likely going to start?
Brock.
Yeah, I want to see Brock start too.
I think Brock has earned it.
I agree.
I think he's earned the start. You know.
Yeah, I mean, how can you shut down a guy that lost one game in the regular season?
Yeah.
When he started, and then be like, yeah, nah, dude, I'm sorry, we're gonna go with this other guy. You know.
And we didn't really get a chance to really see him on the biggest stage because he got injured. So we don't know how he would have performed. It could have been a different Super Bowl, very different Super Bowl.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And let's see. But besides that, you know, like I said, they grab Sam Darnold. They grab a couple just pieces. They grab Isaiah Oliver from Atlanta. You know, they lost Jimmy Ward, which I think is a huge loss for them. Houston really did have some good pickups, but they're just Houston, and it's not enough to have a full-blown conversation about, because even though they did make some good moves, it has been talked about. Like when I went and when I was looking at their thing and trying to decide what teams I want to talk about, I was like, man, if it wasn't Houston, I'd really like to talk about this, because I think they grabbed some really good players. But losing Jimmy Ward is definitely going to hurt them a little bit. But their defense is just so stacked. It's just next man up, and truly, it just fills in the role. It feels like.
Yeah, I mean, just looking in the comments, Megan said Brock is out with a Tommy John injury for at least 6 months. There's an article that popped up 6 days ago. They said he had a successful surgery and he could be throwing in 3. So, I mean,
the only problem with that is that, I mean, 3. What are we in? We're in March. So April, May, June, July, August. So I mean, he might be ready for training camp.
It's a possibility.
And you know, it'd be different if he was out completely for training camp. Then I think there's no shot of him starting. You know, I don't think Trey Lance would have to lose the starting job for him to get it. But he'll be competing if he can throw. If he can throw and he's okay, because I mean, Tommy John surgery is one of those that.
It's a baseball injury.
It's a baseball injury, and it affects the way you throw the ball. So that could change a lot of things as well. And it's such unfortunate energy for him. I didn't realize it was Tommy John. I forgot about that.
That's why I had to look up. I saw something that talked about it, and their expectations is really good. So I mean, we'll see how it all unfolds for the Niners and Brock. I mean, I wish him the best. Don't want him to he just started his career. Wouldn't want to be over this soon, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if he's back to fully throwing by the time training camp comes, it's going to be a good fight, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in. I don't have any San Francisco podcasts or sports YouTubers that I have right now, but I'm going to find one, because I definitely going to want to keep up to date with it, because this is going to be an interesting battle between especially those two.
Have one.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, any...
Before we kind of switch over, what are your thoughts on the Sam Darnold edition? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, if I'm Sam Darnold, I'm ecstatic. because
Hmm.
of the reason that they make average quarterbacks look really good. And if Sam
Yeah,
Darnold
they have a plug
for
and play system.
something happens and Sam Darnold to go and have to start, this is a chance to revamp his career. I think this is truly, if he ends up getting to start at any amount of games this season, this is his last chance of being in the NFL and what he's going to do. Because
Yeah,
I mean, he was checked out for me. I was actually really surprised that someone signed it, but once I saw San Francisco do it, I was like, you know what? That's actually not bad for them or
yeah,
for him.
because their system is plug and play. They can almost plug any quarterback in there.
Yeah, and so
So
it's a 1 year. It's a 44.5 mil, 3.5 of which is guaranteed. So it's a proven contract, and if he gets a chance, in a depth chart where two guys are probably going to be fighting, but you can get in. And the way that things have been going with the 49ers, where all their quarterbacks like to get hurt at some point, who knows? Who knows? What's
I,
your thoughts? What you think about it?
I mean, I thought it was interesting because I, like you said, I thought he was checked out too. I thought he was done. I was like, are you ready to just to be done? Are you ready to be in the booth or on TV somewhere talking about football? Because it just didn't seem like he had it anymore, or just had the
Yeah.
want to be good. And I mean, I know he was in Carolina, so that's a different subject. But I mean, I don't know, man. One of the things I've noticed too with the Niners is the pickup of Cleveland Farrell from the Raiders. Like, so many Raider fans do not like this kid, and I'm like, okay, watch when he goes to the Niners. Watch what happens. Watch what
Mm.
happens. I say, watch what happens. He's going to go into a competent defense and he's going to make the Pro Bowl.
Megan says, "How the hell is San Fran paying for this?" Well, Meg, a lot of this is 1 year contracts. And thing is, when you have an organization like San Fran and what they've done with their head coach, who's a guy that is respected amongst everybody in the league,
John Lynch
and
is
they
amazing.
and
General
they're and
manager.
yeah, and they're on a team that is consistently winning, even with dealing with injuries. Players are willing to, you know, take little cuts
Restructure.
because
Take less.
it'll
Yeah.
make them look good to where when they go sign with someone else, they go make big bucks. I mean, you look
Bad.
at their right tackle, McGlinchey, signed a 5 year for 87.5 mil. Um, they Jimmy G leaves for 3 year for 72.75 mil to the Raiders. Like, Jimmy G ain't
Yeah.
worth that much money. Uh,
No.
Ibukum, he goes and signs a 3 year 24 mil. Like, all these guys that are leaving are signing contracts that are worth 20 plus million, except for Jimmy Ward. He only got 13, and that's just because he's a safety, and the NFL doesn't pay safeties.
And plus, they got a lot of money behind them. There's a
Yeah.
lot of money behind the Niners. Their stadium is Levi Stadium. So I mean, it's not just after somebody. That's the Gene Company.
Right. They,
You know, that,
they've
that's a multi-billion dollar
Levi's has been
company.
around for a while. They've been
they're
around for
making
a
they're making pants
while.
for the Cowboys. I mean, like actual Cowboys, not the
Yeah.
team. The actual Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yeah.
They got long money, bro. Got long money. They, they'll make it work. They'll make it
Yeah.
work.
And then the last team we'll go ahead and talk about, unless there's anybody else or any big ones that y'all bring up, is going to be the Bucks. Bucks, obviously, Bucks are going back into their cave, and that's really what it boils down to. Tom Brady
Well,
leaves, and
you don't
then
think Baker Mayfield's gonna take him to the mountaintop? What?
I don't think Baker Mayfield are gonna send them to an early vacation if they
You
can
said it
afford
right
one.
the first time. Bacon. You said it right.
Bacon? Did I say bacon?
Bacon
Whatever,
Mayfield.
Bacon. That my boy cooking on the field. Yeah, he definitely ain't cooking much. We can go over the Seahawks afterwards, Megan. I don't know too much, so you could help us with it.
Yeah.
I didn't plan a thing out for him. But anyway, Baker Mayfield going to the Bucks. They lose Tom Brady, which results in this very long list of players that are now in free agency that I'm assuming that are not wanting to sign back with them. We'll start from the top. Left tackle Donovan Smith, Tom Brady, Akeem Hicks, Leonard Fournette, Julio Jones, William Golston, Blaine Gabbert, Kyle Rudolph, Sean Bunting, Josh Wells, Giovanni Bernard, Keen O'Neal, Rashard Perryman, Pat O'Connor, Carl Nassib, Logan Ryan, Jennard Avery, Deidre Sanat, Mike Edwards, Cam Gill, Scotty Miller. This is the longest list out of all these teams of players that just are not coming back, that are available, that are just they don't want to come back.
You're telling me that Blaine Gabbert won a title with them without doing nothing. Is the backup Tom Brady? Tom Brady leaves and he doesn't want to play.
You
You
don't
you're
want to.
you're the starter for that team. Tom Brady leaves, you're the starter.
No, man, Kyle Trask, bro, was going to be the starter. They were going to start Trask, and that was going to be even worse than Baker or him.
Oh goodness gracious.
Oh man. Meg says, "Bacon, don't insult the pig. I'm vegan." That's hilarious. But they do re-sign Jamal Dean, one of their starting cornerbacks. They do re-sign Anthony Nelson. They keep Levante David. Like I said, they pick up Baker Mayfield. They're also going to pick up Chase Edmonds, running back from Denver. No details on that contract yet. And then they're going to lose Raheem Nunez-Roche. And I believe that's it. Only one person has signed with a new team so far that's left them. I mean, what do you think of the Baker thing? I mean, I know Baker is kind of, went to Carolina, didn't work out, went to the Rams, had the one really good game, and then didn't work out. Is Baker done? Is Baker done? I know we were optimistic about him last year. Is he done now?
Yeah, I really wanted him to do something when he went to the Browns, and then when he went to Carolina, I was like, oh, maybe this will be a situation because the situation it seemed to fit him. It seemed to fit him pretty well. But for whatever reason, situations don't work out. He went to the Rams for, hey, we need a quarterback because we ain't got nothing. So come over here for like 2 days. But I mean,
dude,
I really don't know.
I hate saying that I think he is done because I like Baker. I mean, I do. I think
it's a lot of heart.
He revitalized that Browns team. Now, was he the greatest? No, but like he revitalized it. He made him interesting for a while it lasted, and then he gets cucked for Deshaun Watson, and now it just is what he is, and now it just seems like he's gonna float from team to team before he finally quits and ends up just doing Allstate commercials, and he's got a good speaking voice. I'm sure he'll be on TV doing something.
Allstate and Hulu.
Yeah. And hopefully he goes and gets a bag for it because he has the personality, he has the look to go and do it. So I'm sure he's gonna make money elsewhere, but I don't see it being football any longer. I mean, this contract, he signed for 1 year, $4 million.
Yeah.
Kickers and punters make more than that, Like this, it's a tough look, man. It's a tough look.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the Browns should have kept Jacoby, but that's just me.
Yes, where did he go? Washington. I didn't have him on here because he didn't show up. He's over at Washington now.
Yeah.
So who's the other quarterback? It was Heineke and Wentz. So Brissett's taking that job, right?
Didn't they separate from Wentz?
They might have. Let me pull it.
I think Wentz and them are parted ways. Or did I read? I must have read something wrong. If it didn't.
Let's see. So Taylor Heineke got traded. Taylor Heineke got traded to Atlanta. They grabbed Jacoby Brissett, 1 year, $8 million. You're right. Carson Wentz is a free agent.
So okay, they did release.
Yeah,
I like Jacoby Brissett a lot. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
he's another player doesn't get the right love and attention that he deserves,
and definitely doesn't get put in the right situation. I mean,
he should have been about.
He should
have been a Browns quarterback.
They had to start the show on because they paid him, but he played well enough to start. They're like, I'm surprised.
He should have.
Like, could you imagine like Jacoby Brissett like going to like the Titans and replacing Tannehill? Talking about like pre-losing AJ Brown, like you bring Brissett over and kept AJ. All of a sudden your record is your record and isn't false hope.
Yeah,
whenever playoff comes.
Yeah. That could have been interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that till just now, bro. Look at my big brain. Yeah. But let's go ahead and look at Seattle real quick. And like I said, Meg, you can give us some details and stuff on some guys that we don't truly know or haven't done any research on. But their biggest signing is getting Jermont Jones from Denver. Plays defensive end, 26 years old, 3-year, $51.5 million contract, 23 guaranteed at signing, and $30 million guaranteed overall.
Big bucks, no whammies.
Big bucks, no whammies. I mean, any defensive player, Denver again is one of those teams where there was that. I think it was around week 10 where they said that if they would have offensively scored more than 16 points every game, they would have only lost one game. So anyone from that defensive side is great. And Draymond Jones, he was a front runner in that. And this is a great grab by Seattle, who was surprisingly good. We had Seattle as only winning like 3 games last year. And
because there was so much uncertainty at the quarterback position, just didn't know.
Yeah, and now they're juicing up their defense back again. I know Meg's also hoping that they grab. Oh goodness, I'm gonna forget his name now.
Oh, she said it. Where she say that?
It's up top here somewhere. Megan, remind me. I know you said it. Now I can't find it.
All I see is po' boys.
Oh, I see his po' boy. Oh, Bobby Wagner. Sorry, Bobby Wagner, the vet.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Meg says D-line is a major concern for y'all. Well, y'all go and grab Draymond Jones. You'll grab Jaron Reed, both defensive ends. I'm sure, assuming one's gonna be right, one's gonna go, left. Jaron Reed, I don't know much about him. Just basing off a contract, he might just be like a plug-in guy. He signed 2-year for $10 million. Definitely doesn't touch much on Draymond Jones' contract. They're also going to lose Travis Homer, who came in for a couple downs and stuff during their carousel of injured running backs. He gets sent away to Chicago. They re-signed Drew Lock, which Megan's really happy about. They trade away lose Cody Barton. I keep saying trade. It's not a trade. They just lose. Lose Cody Barton, and then they also lose Rashad Penny, which I'm very surprised they allowed Rashad Penny to leave. I'm very surprised on that. I know he had that horrible injury, but man, he was balling. He was balling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Penny to the Eagles. Yep. Let's see. Who they got any big names that are still out in front?
What is it, right now? Megan? What is it about Drew Lock that you like so much? I'm just curious.
I was kind of curious too. I didn't know what was a non-rude to ask because nothing about him.
Not trying to be a hater. I'm very curious. I just don't think he's any good. I just don't think he's good.
Well, she's and I guess let me just.
I know he listens to a lot of rap music, but that's about it. He's good at that.
One other big signing, our Super Bowl team. We didn't talk about them. They weren't very, very active. I mean, obviously they lost Juju, which I don't think really matters for Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, I mean, after losing Tyreek Hill, it doesn't matter who he's throwing the ball to. They're going to be successful. But they go and grab. They lose Orlando Brown to Cincinnati. Their left tackle. He was one of the bigger free agents during this offseason. He got signed for 4 years, $64 million.
Wow,
that's a big contract.
Cincy needed that though. They needed that, bro.
They desperately needed it. Not surprised about Penny going. Zach been crappy for a couple years. I guess so. Drew reminds me a lot of my godson Noah. Laugh aloud. I was on the lock train last year. Oh, okay. But you know what? That's fair. That's
okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
What's good, Carlos? Carlos said, I hope nothing but success for Derek Carr except against the Raiders. Hey,
facts. Same thing.
You see me rocking the Saints jersey, but Non's a Raiders fan, so we understand, man. We understand.
Yeah.
I hope so too. I hope he brings us to new heights and get us back into into winning football, man. Desperately.
I mean. Yeah. Subsequently, I'll be rooting for Derek Carr. I already even before I met Zach, I already rooted for the Saints because of how many times they got jilted in playoffs and stuff like that. So I already rooted for them. But now, because of him, I root more. But now I'm really rooting now because Derek Carr's there.
Well, look, I'm gonna buy you a Derek Carr jersey, a Saints jersey, okay?
If we do a game, I'll rock it. I ain't tripping.
Whenever I finally ship these things out to you, I actually got a surprise for you in there. It's kind of funny. So you'll see.
Okay. Cool.
But anyway, guys, I think that just about wraps this up. If there's no other teams anybody want us to go over, we just kind of wanted to cover the majority of them, especially some of the bigger moves. This has been an exciting couple 3 days, and like we said, there is still a lot of guys that are available in free agency. I mean, I just have Kansas City up right now. Frank Clark is still out there in free agency. You know, we talked
True,
about
Megan.
Zeke, Schultz, Jaceki, um, Meg's guy that she hopes comes back to Seattle. You know, there's still a lot of moves to be done, and it's going to be interesting. Um, but this was fun.
I would say, even though not everyone is a Raiders fan, just keep an eye on what's happening with Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's see if it's really just a contract issue or did he actually fail his physical. Just pay attention, and if you do it, just laugh for me because it's stupid. That's how I feel right now. It's stupid. But also just real quick before we ended out, we had 20 votes.
Wait. Well, if y'all don't, if he doesn't, pass physical, y'all don't have a quarterback, right? So at least the Josh Jacobs will get what he wants, and the team will be built around him because he's gonna be taking the snaps.
He's gonna be taking snaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, because we didn't have no quarterbacks pretty much. I thought we were gonna pick up, Jacoby Brissett as well because he's also from Patriots. He's Patriot way. He's actually like very serviceable quarterback, and I'm like, he would have fit. He kind of fit the mold of what they're trying to do as far as their scheme. So I thought he would have worked out too. But they didn't pick him up. They didn't keep Jared Stidham. I was like, I just don't know what they're doing. I have no idea.
Are y'all in cap hell? Like, why wouldn't you go after both?
No, we weren't. We weren't in cap hell until we're still not even in cap hell. We just lost a bulk of our money because of Garoppolo. But we had like 40 mil.
I mean, Brissett signed. What did we say he signed for? I think it was like 8 mil or something like that. It wasn't even that much.
Yeah.
So like, you could have grabbed both of them. And
I think his contract
was fine being a backup too. Like I mean, you know.
Which is not good to say if you're getting that kind of money.
Yeah, right.
But I think his contract. I appreciate it. I think his contract is 11.25 with 8 guaranteed. I think what it was. It's 8 guaranteed though. So I mean, that can always be restructured again. You know what I'm saying? With somebody that they put, the level that they put him at, they'll restructure until it's team friendly regardless. We had just to go over the poll really quick so we can close it out. 20 votes.
And then we'll go over the Bills as well.
I mean, balance is hell for AFC and NFC. I was surprised. The question was, which division has gotten better with the free agency? Is 35 across the board for both divisions, and then the Zebras got 15%. Don't care everybody here got 15%. That's the first time we've seen a 4-way tie.
4-way, man. Look at that.
Yeah, well, 2 and 2 technically, but all of them exactly the same. I've never seen that before. That's actually pretty interesting. See, everybody's just as confused as I am. So okay, I don't feel that bad anymore.
And then Deck also asked any news on the Buffalo Bills. So the Bills really haven't been that active. That's why we didn't do anything to cover them. But other than they lost Tremaine Edmonds, which obviously is a big loss. They do grab Connor McGovern, the center from Dallas, try to beef up that offensive line, which definitely something that they needed to do. I feel like their offensive line, we talked a little bit about it during the playoff match with Nate, where they made it look really good, like they hid the fact that they weren't really great, and we saw that during that playoff game. So I expect them to beef it up some more during the draft. Yeah, the Edmonds lost. The McGovern grab was probably two of the bigger ones. They also grabbed Deontay Hardy. And they re-signed Jordan Poyer. That contract isn't shown yet, but that's huge as well. They lose Case Keenum, and they basically just switched him out for the backup quarterback from Houston. So it's just a what and what trading backups. Case Keenum might have a chance to start now in Houston. There's no telling. And then Deontay Hardy was picked up by Buffalo. Deontay Hardy played for the Saints. He was injured majority of last year, but he was our Pro Bowl kick returner. And also started to develop as a wide receiver a little bit, as well. So, I mean, you'll be able to plug him into the slot and have him run some go routes and some, routes across the middle of the field, and you'll get him in open space, be able to make some plays. And like I said, he is a good kick returner as well when he's healthy. He was Pro Bowl the year that he did it, and I could definitely see him getting right back to that. So not a bad pickup, just nothing major.
Yeah, and also they didn't say that for the Eagles, they actually re-signed Jason Kelce too. So that's great.
It wasn't in there. That is great.
Yeah, that they kept him because he's a talent. He is a talent,
without a doubt. And then Meg says NFC West will be owned by Seattle boys. The NFC West, man, Meg. Maybe. Maybe.
If the Niners quarterback situation falls apart, maybe. If not, then you might as well take back seat, second seat.
Yeah, I think second seat for sure.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give that. I don't know about first seat, but y'all be up there, man. Hopefully it's a good season for y'all, Meg, and hopefully it's a good season for everybody's favorite team, except for anyone that's a fan of the Falcons. I hope y'all have a horrible season. Um,
also,
and
also kind of
yeah,
off of what you said about the Chiefs, I don't really think they really need to make too many moves. So I think they're
no,
doing
no, they don't.
exactly what they need to do right now.
Mhm.
Just waiting to see who falls to the wayside that we can make better. That's pretty much what they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're gonna hold out, wait for something that everybody missed out on, sign them for cheap because they
Hmm.
didn't go anywhere, and then see what they can work with. And if all fails, they just release them at the middle of the year, and it don't even matter. Send them over to the practice squad. So,
Yeah.
all right.
So
Anything else you got to add, on? I see Slim said
uh,
Juju should have stayed in KC, but we all know once you get a ring, it's time for the bag. We thought that was interesting too. I'm so surprised Juju went to the Patriots just in general because he hates on him so much. But man, that division is going to be pretty fun to watch. Like it's either going to be very fun or it's going to be complete ass. Like I feel like it's going to be similar situation to your division with the Raiders, Broncos and all that stuff last year where it's either going to be very competitive or it's going to be complete ass, which is kind of what
mhm,
it was this past year, underwhelming Chargers, underwhelming Raiders, underwhelming Broncos.
mhm.
Because Miami is making some moves that they're doing some great things on the defense, especially re-sign their running back threats. Jets trying to get Aaron Rodgers, signing Lazard and assuming they're going to go and grab some more people as well. And then Patriots with D Hop and Juju. Mac Jones has no excuse now not to be what they expect him to be, and I have no expectations for him. So I think that's going to fall apart. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't mind. I understand them going after the bag, but sometimes I think going to just a random ass team for the bag is the worst mistake you can make. You know,
Yeah.
it's like when you look at Cheetah. Like, yeah, he went to a team that he had some good potential weapons around him as far as being a wide receiver. But
He
then
got
at
lucky
the end of
that
the season,
worked
you
out. He
but
got
yeah,
lucky it
but
kind of
also
worked out.
at the end of the season, you see your team that you just left win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You feel some kind of way after that. Like, damn, I probably should have stayed. Like,
Probably should have won another Super Bowl. Yeah, probably could have added that ring to my collection. Well, I
he
mean,
got
you
greedy.
see
He
that,
got
but you also
greedy.
see it with other players too that do it, and then they end up out the league within the next 3 years, or just
Yeah,
become true role players. I mean, we saw that with Le'Veon Bell. Went and signed that
hmm
big bag with the
hmm
Jets instead of staying with Pittsburgh. We saw that with Antonio Brown. Now
hmm
Antonio Brown's situation I think is a little bit different, but just because he does have
a little bit. Yeah.
the CTSD, is that what it is? Whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the acronym, but anyway, but you see that a lot as well with players. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll
But
see.
guys, this has been real. This has been great fun. Appreciate y'all for all tuning in, giving us y'all opinion on y'all's team, and also just listening to us, ramble on and talk, giving you our opinion about everybody's team. Hope it's another great year of the NFL. We're, about 6 months away from the start. We got
Man.
NBA playoffs coming up in less than a month now, which is going to be
hmm
really exciting. We'll be live constantly during the playoffs. I almost want to say hopefully not as much as last year, because last year I wanted to die after the playoffs ended. But we will be live. We'll be live as much and as often as we possibly can take it. We'll have more
What up,
videos dropping
scientist?
throughout the week. A lot of great things coming out on this channel. Make sure if y'all are new to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notification bells on. Get
Hmm
notified whenever we go live and whenever we drop content. We do all kinds of stuff. We drop shorts, we drop edited content, we go live for games, we do little talks like this where we'll do different coverages.
Thank you,
This is
Slim.
something that we want to start bringing to the channel a lot more often as well. Just
Thank you,
these sit
Megan.
back and talks with some other guests and things like that. So, make sure y'all have those notifications on, and we appreciate y'all.
Oh, most definitely. And just thank you guys for being here. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. And just like what Megan just said, may the best team win. To everybody, I hope you guys have great seasons, man. Great off seasons. Hope this free agency is just as crazy. It gets even crazier than what we was hoping it would have gotten, what I'm saying, to be honest. But just thank you guys for being here. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for hitting that
For
thumbs
sure.
up. If you haven't already, hit that like. If you're new to the channel, be true to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well, notification bell. And just thank you for being a part of the channel. Check out the edited content. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Love you. We'll catch you on the next one, man.
And we'll roll the outro. Peace out. Cheers.
Peace out.